Hello, everyone. This is Brother Benson Media, and today is 10th of October 2024. Naambiwa ni mazingira day. Ni ile ambao tunaangalia mazingira ambao sisi tunaishi, labda unaweza kuwa mahali upande miti unajua hiyo ni holiday ambayo iliwekwa, so natumai popote uliko ama popote ulipo ulikuwa ama uko na jioni njema. Leo hii ilikuwa tukue na mgeni lakini kwa shida ama kwa vitu ambazo hatuwezi epuka, haezi kuja, lakini amenipatia ishara kuwa kuna siku ama kesho ama wiki ijao atakuwa na sisi hapa. Lakini hiyo haimaanishi kuwa hatuwezi kuwa na mazungumzo. Hapana, lazima tuzungumze kwa sababu tukizungumza tunapata kwamba kuna jambo. And I want to take this opportunity again to welcome you all from where you are. Thank you, Brenda, for joining, and everyone who is joining. And I'm still waiting for either Makubura or Miguda to join in, because we were supposed to be having a guest today, but due to unavoidable circumstances, he was not able to make it. And he has promised us that next week he will be here, or before even next week, or maybe tomorrow. So it's something that we are going to work out on it, and we can have a conversation with him, so we can also listen to his side of the story, because he has a history in the politics of our country. At one point in his political life, he was nominated to be a deputy president. So I think he could, by him being here, he could have given us the insight or how does it work. So as you know very well, still in the public, the impeachment of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is still on course. It's something that is still being discussed, and also it is in the Senate. The Senate are discussing about it, and I think by next week we will know the fate of the Deputy President and what will follow. And those are the questions now we need to look at. What next? And actually look at our country. There are so many things that really has happened, and I wanted to bring in him so that we can discuss and the Kenya on the brink, and which way as a nation can we get out where we are at this particular moment. And those are the discussions that I wanted to have with him. And that one does not mean that we should not continue with discussion. I will try and have a monologue, which is usually not very easy. I'm not used to a monologue, so if you're there in the comment section, you can join me so that we can have this conversation going, because monologue is not I'm not very good when it comes to monologue. So one of the things that I want to look at, um a country right now, where we are. Ayaga, habari gani? Ayaga, would you mind joining on? Let me see if I can share with you the link so you can assist me to discuss this issue about the Kenya is on the brink, and how can we move from where we are and have a better country. Let me just work out on how I can see to share the link with you so you can join us, so we can have this discussion for a 1 hour or so. Okay, thank you so much. I'm seeing you good. And let me know where you're watching us from, and your question, and everything that you want us to discuss about. We want to look at the economy, and there are so many pointing factors or indicators that I want us to discuss about. So, and see how can we get out of there, because like there are so many things. When you talk about economy, we are talking of the debt of the country, which is still growing each and every day. We have things like corruption. Those are the things that are killing us. We have unemployment, especially among the young people. And right now, those are the things that we don't hear even discussion taking place on them. Right now, the discussion is all about the impeachment, and that is what is going on. So let me see how I can invite Ayaga. Judith, thank you so much for watching. You can tell us where you're watching us from, whether you're from Mrima ama uko upande gani ya nchi ambao unatuona. Asante sana kwa wale pia ambao wanaingia, tunawashukuru sana. Tell us where you are, and tell us what you think. How can we get out of where we are because the country is at brink. Which way out? What is the way out for the country? And we are going to discuss it with you today because our guest is not here. Uh, okay, thank you so much. Let me see how I can share so that I can invite Ayaga, share the link so Ayaga can assist us to also discuss what we are doing today. Thank you so much, and I hope all of you, everyone is doing fine. Watching from Thika, Kiambu. Okay, asante sana, watu wa Thika. Thika is well represented, and thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let me see how to share the link with Ayaga so we can have a discussion and talk about what is happening in the country. Um, that is, let me see if I can get this to Ayaga. Kennedy Francis Tasia Cod here. Thank you so much, brother. How are you doing and how is Tasia? Asante sana. Tasia, how is Tasia doing? Just let us know. And ground inasemaje ukiangalia hii impeachment ya the deputy president. What is the ground saying? And what is the ground saying? Mr. Kennedy from Mr. Yeah, yeah, Kennedy Francis from Tasia. Thank you so much for joining our show. Mr. Ayaga, thank you so much. There is the link, Mr. Ayaga. Kindly, please, if you are in a position, come join and let's have a conversation about this because, like, we want to see how we get out of where we are right now because so many people are very stressed, like the whole thing based on how people are being, so many people are very stressed. And how can we get out of here? What are the way forward? And as a people and as the leaders that we have, what is the best way forward? Thank you so much everyone for joining, and this is Brother Benson. We welcome you all where we say your opinion counts. If you're new here, please just join by subscription. We will really appreciate and like and share our videos, and invite also family members to join so that we can have this conversation that we are having today. Tasia is great, but mixed feeling about the diversionary tactics of the system to continue implementing retrogressive and punitive bills. That is what we want to talk about. And how can we get out of retrogressive, diversionary tactics that we see from do we say the political class, or what is taking place in the political landscape of our country today? Well, how can we get out of those? How can we? That is the question that I'm asking. If you're in the comment section, you can also share with me the idea on how we can get out of um, such. Eric Kayaga, I'm coming. Thank you so much. I'm waiting for you, and I'm willing also to engage with you on how or which way forward can we come out of what we are right now in the country. Remember, Michael, Teddy, thank you so much. You are on the Facebook. Thank you so much for joining. You can let us know where you're watching us from. We will be great and good, nice to hear where you're watching us from so that we know where you are. That one will be great for me. Thank you so much again, Mr. Teddy, for joining. Ayaga, I'm still waiting for you as we want to discuss how are we going to get out of where we are? Because there's one thing that I don't know whether you as viewers you've noticed, especially when it comes to the political class, and something that I like talking about is about ethnicity. And like our country, Michael Nyango, thank you so much. You're watching all the way from Poughkeepsie. You are on the Facebook. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate so much. And you can contribute. And as a citizen of a country, you can also let us know how you want us. How can we get out of this? Um, we need to galvanize, organize, and mobilize the electorate to avert vote apathy and increase awareness to shun petty politics. I agree with you 100%. That is one of the things that we should do. And thank you so much. Uh, Um, Ayaga, thank you so much for joining. And let me see. Luckily enough, our guest is here, and we will. Hello, Mheshimiwa. Hello, my brother. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm glad you remembered that you cannot refer to me as Mheshimiwa because I mean to serve. So every time be reminded that Mheshimiwa ni tamko ambalo limetumika vibaya, na kwa
Eh,
sasa ambavyo tunasafisha rada,
eh,
tunahitaji watumishi tu, watu ambao wako tayari kutumika kwa
eh.
manufaa ya kuendesha taifa mbele. Thank you very much for having me. I apologize for joining you this late in the day.
Yeah,
You don't have my video
yeah.
because I'm deep in the forest. Huku hata coverage ya stima kidogo matatizo,
Uh,
lakini ujumbe utafika.
Okay, asante sana ndugu yangu kwa kukuja. Nilikuwa nimeanza kuongea na our viewers and we were just asking them which is the way out in the state where our nation is. I know this is I think the third time we are having a conversation. Last time we had a conversation was when we lost the CDF Ogola, and we talked in length extensively about the state of our equipment, especially the military and the police equipment. And we had a very good discussion. And today also, I'm bringing you on board, and we want to know which way out for the nation, because like from the look of things, we are not at a very, very, very good state as a nation. So that is why today we are inviting you, and we are very, 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 very much grateful for you to be here. Thank you so much, my brother.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I've checked the comment section and I see people are leaving messages. There
Yeah.
are quite a number of Kenyans that are tuned in,
Yeah.
and I assure them that we appreciate whenever they take their time and make the effort to engage in these discussions, because the more we talk, the more ideas will get shared, and it's these ideas that will help to transform these nations. So thank you very much for giving us a platform.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing Kenyans together. And besides that, thank you for being a leading voice, Benson.
Thank you so much also for always coming to our show whenever we need you. So today we want to talk about the state of the nation and the which way out. And I want to just give you like a chronology of where we are, because Kenya has really changed from the time we had a conversation until today. Immediately after our conversation with you, it came the Gen Z protest that was due to the finance bill. Then came the broad-based government. After that, the Adani came in, and now we are talking about impeachment. What is your take as a patriot and as a member of this nation?
First and foremost, I would like to correct a statement you just made. You referred to the current government as a broad based government. This
Yeah,
is a blood based government because for it to come into place, young Kenyans had to lose their lives, blood had to be shed. And then the broadness exclude those who made the biggest sacrifice. So let's refer to this government as a broad based government.
yeah. Hello, did I lose you?
I lost your video. You could confirm if you're still there.
Yeah, you lost my video.
Okay, you're back. Thank you. So I was explaining that for the Kenya Kwanza regime to survive, we had to commit an atrocity, an assault against our constitution, where we had the opposition crossing the aisle to join the majority side in parliament. We have these unholy union that came together to make sure that the people did not win in that contest that they had launched against this capitalist state. I'm perturbed by where the nation is, but then I'm encouraged seeing that Kenyans have not sat back. Just the other day, when we were called to give our input with regard to the impeachment of the deputy president, Kenyans who had been invited showed up without asking to be facilitated. And even those who were facilitated, once they got the opportunity to express themselves, they did not sing to the tune of the piper, the person that had paid them to attend those meetings. They expressed themselves courageously, boldly, and truthfully. And they say that if we are going to commit an impeachment, then it needs to be the president and the deputy president going home. Yes, they did not succeed in getting that done, but at least they were heard. So I'm glad that we have people out there who are engaged, who are participating in this very patriotic revolution that currently is still fermenting. There is hope. It's an arduous task, but I believe Kenyans are up to it, and eventually we shall prevail.
Okay, thank you so much, my brother. And there's an area that I want you to engage you on, despite the fact that everything that is going on, we have like economic area, especially in terms of government, because we are seeing our debt is continuing to rise. We also have inflation or high cost of living that the Kenyan people are still experiencing, unemployment and the corruption that is still experienced. What is the best way that we can do as a country or as a citizen so that we can get out of the state where we are?
Well, Kenya's biggest enemy is corruption. People could list a million things, but then our Achilles heel is corruption, because corruption has ensured that, number one, we conduct fraudulent elections that yield corrupt leaders who do not deserve to hold office. That gives us a government that is deficient of the right quality of people who can come up with visionary ideas that can lift this nation to the next level where we need to go. So, number one, corruption. If for some reason Kenyans were touched a certain way and they committed everything they've got to drain the swamp, and we managed to slay this monster called corruption, then I know we will create an environment where businesses will thrive, employment opportunities will be created, and there won't be need for people to practice nepotism, because we'll have sufficient opportunities for all those who are willing to go out there and work and do business. So, in order for things to work in this country, we must slay the monster of corruption. And this starts with every individual, be they old or young. We know even our children right now are socialized to believe that for them to do anything, there must be an inducement. They do not understand that there are certain things we do just because we are human beings. For example, as a human being, I'm supposed to uphold integrity, to do things that dignify other human beings, to take care of my environment. To do such things, you do not need to be motivated by exterior factors. You should be self mobilized. So, corruption starts with every human soul in this country. And I've said, be they young, be they old, even though the most responsibility lies with those who know, which mostly are the adults. Now, that said, we must realize that we gave unto ourselves a very progressive constitution in the year 2010. We have attempted to implement this constitution, but then the journey has not been smooth and it's far from being complete. If we were able to implement our constitution both in spirit and in letter, I can guarantee you some of the problems that we grapple with would be long gone. For instance, there are Article 43 rights that are enshrined in our constitution. Talk about right to education, healthcare, right to food, that is, as in food security.
Yeah.
If we are able to implement our constitution, both in letter and in spirit, this nation would start to move in the right direction. We would fight and succeed this monster called state capture, because we would have independent institutions that are serving the people and not serving those who have captured these institutions. So this subversion we have seen of independent public offices would not exist. Now, that aside, I would want to draw you to the situation that Kenya is faced right now.
Yeah.
We have seen that, given an opportunity, those in charge will loot even assets that other people thought cannot be touched. We know that Kenyans have the ability to surprise us, but then nobody ever imagined that someday we would wake up and realize that someone is attempting to steal an airport. That was unthought of. It's unthinkable. But then we've seen that there are individuals who can actually do that if we do not remain vigilant. So there are all these scandals. Talk about Adani JKIA takeover. There is the issue with regard to the Ministry of Energy, Ketraco. You look at the university funding model that was not well thought out, the transfer from NHIF to SHIF. You look back and realize that our counties 5 months have been experiencing a cash crunch, and yet nobody is addressing this. We know that this country loses more money on the revenue side of corruption rather than the expenditure, where most people tend to focus. Yet we've all been diverted to only focus on the expenditure side. So all these things that we've been redirected not to look are things that should get us to wake up and realize that we have in our hands an opportunity to take back our country. These things should make us angry enough to chase out all these people who are trying to steal the future of our future generation. So I know I can go on and on because these are matters that touch me closely, but then let me give it back to you so others can contribute as well.
Okay, thank you so much. And I want just also to engage you on something that you've talked about the health. That is what I bring in as the social justice that you talk. You see how the shift was rolled out from NHIF to shift. Yet there were Kenyans who during that time really during the transition really went through a lot of time. But when you see the leadership that we have, especially like the members of parliament, they were not so much concerned about that, especially those who are going for dialysis. Some of them were crying, especially the old. What does this one speak about the leadership that we have, especially the representative, not even the executive, the representative that we have?
Well, that's a depiction of the callous nature
Yeah.
of those who are in charge. You see, the people who are running things in Kenya can afford to go to private hospitals because Kenyans have adequately made accessible resources to give them that luxury, if I can call it so. So they can afford to be callous because it doesn't affect them directly. Now, besides that, they have stolen enough to be able to even pay for their close family members who are not.
Okay. I lost him. Ayaga, how are you doing, sir? I think Ayaga. Okay, thank you so much. As we continue with the discussion of today, we are just looking on as a country, how can we get out where we are at this particular moment? Because from the look of things seems not to be working, especially when you look at the way the rollout of SHA and NIF, even though right now they are trying to fix it, but like in the first initial stages, it was not done the right way. Let me take this opportunity to thank Gibson Connor for coming in. Tell us how are you doing today, and we will. Hello, Mr. Yaga. Okay. And one of the things that I also wanted to engage our guest on was about the the inequalities that we are experiencing, especially when it comes to things to do with social. And this is where my guest was talking about the health sector. How is the distribution of health sector is happening, because you see, like, the members of the parliament, when it comes to the insurance that they have, some of them usually seek medication outside the country, because they can afford. Some of them have very good insurance, but when you come to the commoners of Kenyans who are there, some of them cannot even afford such good insurance. So, and you find that they go to this hospital, sometimes they're told, no, you have to pay this, and sometimes you find yourself going home. Thank you so much, Gibson Connor. Say that the government has to devolve to strengthen up the Kenyans issues. But are they going to devolve it? Because this is something that even in the devolution, are they going to? And this one brings about our leadership. Talk about inequalities that we usually see. Uh, Hello? Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Ayaga, I cannot get Ayaga. So that one, we'll just continue, because this is a discussion that you, even in the comment section, can come in and let us know. Let us have this conversation, because if we don't have such like conversation, what is the way forward? And I really agree with what Francis was saying. Laban Misiani, Brother Ben, hi, thank you so much. Unaendelea aje, Mr. Laban? Ebu tuambie we Laban, kulingana na maoni yako, unaona pali tuko saizi kama inchi, ni njia gani ambapo wananchi wanaweza tumia, ama wewe uko na swali ambao labda tuseme kwamba something that you would want to share with us on how we can get out where we are at this particular moment in time, because there's so many things, so many Kenyans are frustrated right now due to the isn't the political on how the politics is working right now. Let me see again what wish the grid matched individual needs. We have dealers instead of leaders. Yes, we know we do have them, my brother. I agree with you 100%. So, what is the way forward so that we can start to bring leaders to take care of the issues of the country rather than dealers? That is the question that we are asking, and in that also we are looking at the political divisive, the divisive kind of politics that we usually experience. um, Hello?
Comrade Benson,
Yes,
I'm here.
yes. I lost you. Actually, you are two guests. I keep on losing you at the same time, because I wanted to give one of the guests also a time to contribute, but all of you just dropped on me. So, we were talking about inequalities, and one of our viewers here is saying we wish the grid matched individual needs. We have dealers instead of leaders. So that is one of the comment section. And just to read for you, the last one is saying, I don't mind people paying for their private health, but I have issues when people use the taxpayers' money to pay for their health. Thank you so much. And that is what we are calling inequality, because sometimes you find they use what is meant for the public. That is what they're using for their health. Um, my friend, Kariara, unanisikiza?
Well, nakusikia, I actually would want to acknowledge the presence of one Kennedy. Kennedy is a revolutionary Kenyan who believes that within this generation, it's possible to have that country that our forefathers fought
Hello,
for. And
Bernard, can you hear me?
I'm
Yes.
glad he's in this space.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Yaga. Today we are having MUTHIORA is our guest tonight, and you also you are guest, and we are just discussing about how can we, as Kenya, move which way out, where we are at this particular moment. Oh, he dropped. And hi, brother. I always told you that we ask questions that we have answered to follow the constitution and letter, and all will be answered. Period. Madhira, what do you say about that?
Well, I totally agree with him. You remember my analysis is that besides electing leaders of integrity,
Yep.
if we implemented our constitution, both in letter and in spirit, a lot of the problems we experience today as a country would not exist. So he's totally on point. He's right. But then the question is, what process is going to get us there? And I have advanced this argument that every day we hear these being said out there that we need for youthful people, Kenya's young, to register as voters. That's good, but then that's just half of the equation. We must also encourage men and women of integrity to run for public office. Because if we have all who are qualified to be voters join that role, and then we do not have people to elect into office, the same hyenas are the ones that are going to get into those offices. So, you and me who believe that we are called to serve should run for public office. Now, if we do that, then the quality of leadership will improve. And then a beautiful thing will happen, which is we'll have more ideas into this space. And it's these ideas that yield to better policy that is pro people, well thought out, because those devising it are not there to deal or cut deals for themselves, but to ensure that the people.
Okay. I think there's a problem with the network. I just lost him again. And
Kenyans who will be guided by our constitution, and
Mhm.
besides that, the love for country, the the urgent need to be the right stewards for this country so we can bequeath it to future generations in a state that's better than the one we found it in. So I totally agree with him. And I say, let us enter the fray. Let us organize within our spheres of influence. Let us join political parties. And
Mhm.
where we feel that those political parties do not represent our values and principles, let us form our own. Nothing stops us from forming parties, even though someone may say that this one speaks to a certain sector of the population. As long as you're able to cascade that across the country, it doesn't have to bring everyone on board. You can only be serving certain interests. As long as it's national and it does not discriminate, you'll be allowed to form such a political party, and then you can advance whatever agenda that brings you people together. For instance, you can get border guys
Yeah.
form a political party. Someone will say, okay, now this will only serve a specific sector of the population. True, but then there are boda guys who are from Nyanza, others from the coast. There are those who are married, there are those who are not. There are those who are Christians, there are those who are Muslims. So if they are joined by their trade and they come together and they say our party will advance the interests of those in this sector of the transport sector,
Mhm.
then we have an issue based political party. If farmers did the same, then we would ultimately have a scenario where these parties will sponsor their own. They will own politicians instead of how it is today, where you have this cult like worship of political leaders who actually believe that they own supporters, when in fact it should be the other way, where it's the people that own the leaders. So they sponsored.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Ayaga, are you there? Ayaga, are you there?
For themselves.
Okay. Thank you so much. And I think also my other guest also might be having a problem with the internet. Can you please also tell us on how, because there's this kind of politics that the leaders are playing that is about ethnicity, like they thrive on that. That is where they come and like make it to be something very sensitive. Even what is going right now, it's about ethnicity. It's not about the policies, or it's not about the leadership that the Kenya wants, but it is around that. Also, how can the people of Kenya realize that and move away from such like politics that being advanced by some of the leaders? Hmm. Okay, seemingly today we might be having a problem with the internet and um,
Yes, it's true. We are having connectivity issues,
yeah.
but I just do hope that those who are with us here today will bear with us. We have to have this conversation, and thank you very much for hosting us. Now, at the height of the Gen Z protests in Kenya, this thing called tribalism had been demystified. It had been set aside, and Kenyans were united on this one issue back then, that was defeating Finance Bill 2024. Now, together, we won that battle. It didn't matter where anyone came from.
Yeah.
But after these dealers we have in office realized that the game had changed, they went back to what has worked for them, which is dividing Kenyans along tribal lines. And unfortunately, we succumbed. Now that we know we can organize and beat them at this, we should go back to that. We should believe that we are the same people that came together in June and July and actually defeated the enemies of the state. So, again, I'm saying let us organize around issues. Let people, for instance, Benson,
Yeah.
you're one person that is in the communication space. You guys can come together and organize around that. I have a role at the Secretariat of the National Coordination Committee of the People's Assemblies, which is a platform that is trying to consolidate the gains that Kenyans made during the Gen Z protests. And here we've brought together right now 61 pro people, youth serving organizations. And these organizations have to meet just but three simple criteria. Number one, that the members are ready to pay a price to liberate this country. Number two, they believe that Ruto is the chief agent of all the enemies who do not want Kenya to advance in a direction that will serve the people in a way that every nation should. So anyone, regardless of where they come from in society, if they agree on those conditions, then they are welcome. So, if others adopted a similar approach and organized to bring people together, then tribe would really not matter. Because if you look at it keenly, you'll realize that a poor Kalenjin and a poor Kikuyu have more in common than that poor Kalenjin has with William Ruto. Poverty is the deal here. And the only way we can alleviate ourselves from its effects is if we ensure that we put in place a government that will advance pro people policies, that will create jobs, create an environment where businesses thrive. So we have to organize around issues. Right now, the biggest issue before we even talk about the micro issues is Ruto must go. Raila Odinga must go. Kalonzo Musyoka must go. Moses Wetangula, Musalia Mudavadi. I mean, all these politicians who have had an opportunity to serve Kenyans but then fell short need to exit the stage so that things can change for you and me. That's a uniting factor. We can figure out who is going to lead us, but after we've kicked these guys out, let no one lie to you that this country will fall into a state of anarchy. No, it will not. Kenya is fortunate to be blessed with capable men and women. So, even before we go too far,
Yeah.
let's acknowledge that we have seen our enemies come together to make sure that we do not get that which we deserve. So now it's our turn to come together to deny them that success.
Okay.
It could happen in the 2027 election, or we could choose to keep agitating until this regime falls. And I know that's possible.
Okay. Thank you so much, my brother, for your explanation. Ayaga, you there? Is Ayaga is not there. So as we talk about going or the mechanism that we want to put in place, now will the citizens themselves hold themselves accountable and have that sacrifice and say that, okay, this is a sacrifice that I'm making, that it is about that type that now we are reclaiming our country. And how do we reclaim it? We reclaim it by being ambassadors of good um, public civic education that one of us was talking about here. Kennedy was talking. We have to organize, test. We organize for that civic education. Is, will the citizen themselves be take that ambassador role to
Well,
champion?
citizens must and should.
Yeah,
Actually, let me borrow what our constitution says. It says the people shall.
yeah,
And at this point, according to the analysis that the NCCPA has done, is we've established that the only way to organize differently from how organizing has been done before is people must form assemblies wherever they are.
yeah,
So, for instance, we have these market traders, let's say in Kawangware.
yeah,
They need to come together and have a people's assemblies there. And we are supporting them with material, with training, with indoctrination materials so they know how to do this correctly. Now, in those assemblies, they will articulate their issues, they will ventilate, they will share ideas. And then, if they keep doing these, they will find among them people who are suitable to lead them. So, with these assemblies, they will raise funds to support those among them that they believe are of integrity and can hold public office. Because when we have such people, then we know that if they are in the county assemblies or in the national assemblies, they will advance pro people policies. So the way out of the situation we find ourselves in is we have to organize from the lowest level, the lowest electoral unit, the ward. Now, in a ward, you'll find we have a couple of polling stations. So we would want to identify cells in those polling stations where
sorry about that. I think we have today issue with the internet.
document what's happening across the country, and then cascade that information upwards to the ward level. And then from the ward level, we'll have the discussion at constituency level, and then at the county level. And then we'll have the national convention where delegates now congregate to say, this is what the people at the grassroots are saying. So to win this war, everybody must do what they can, where they can, with what they've got.
Okay, thank you so much. As the public will continue doing that, and there's something also that we are forgetting here about the IEBC that, as we speak today, is not in place, and time also is running out. That one is there. There's also a legislation that was also brought in about the extension of time limits, especially for the elective positions. And people are giving views on it as we speak right now. Soon it will be presented in the parliament, that the views that people has given. How can we find ourselves in a way that we monitor all this and at the same time pressurize the department or government to put in place the IEBC, so that as we want to get a new leadership or this new birth, uh, um, the institution to carry out election are in place?
What William Ruto is doing right now is not new.
Yeah.
Mike Sonko tried a similar thing. When Sonko realized that he was going to be impeached, he made sure that he never appointed the deputy governor.
Yeah.
He created a situation where Nairobi would need him. So right now, William Ruto is enjoying that we have these court cases that are delaying the constitution of the IEBC.
Yeah.
I would say he actually is derailing the process, because he knows that once we have a commission, Kenyans are going to start the process of recalling the members of parliament who they feel do not represent them. And yet, William Ruto needs these puppets in place, because they will advance whatever selfish agenda he's got. He has them in his pockets. So, what Kenyans must do is Kenyans must come together and demand, like we did for the Finance Bill 2024, that IEBC is constituted without any further delay. William Ruto wants to have this commission constituted too late in the day, so that those who will hold those positions will not have the experience or even the know-how to fight off politicians. You can imagine we have someone like Raila Odinga, who has been in this space since the 90s. That's over almost 40 years of experience running for president. And then you have a commissioner who holds office for just a couple of months. Do you think they'll be able to manage the process given who they are up against? So at that point, with an imperial president like the one we have, those in that commission will not be effective, because they will be manipulated and outplayed. And that election in 2027 will incline towards those in power. So that's a strategy that he's playing. So we must demand that this constitution is put in place early enough, so that the commissioners familiarize themselves with the terrain, learn what this job entails, and then look into what legislation needs to be put in place.
The Bluetooth is disconnected.
Okay. Hello? Did I lose you? Makobura, habari gani?
Hello, good evening. How are you? I'm happy to see. I don't know whether this is Eric Ayaga or someone else.
That is Eric Kayaga, and we are also having KARIARA here with us. We have internet. Do you have lights and internet? Your internet is okay?
Yeah, it's back. It's okay.
Okay. All right. Ayaga, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you very much. How are you?
I'm good. You've been struggling to get into the studio. Could see you adding you, and you are dropping. And it is a very good evening. I know, and we are discussing which way out of where we are, because as we speak today, there's so many things that have really happened, or so many things that have taken place, and we are looking at what is the way out where we are. And my brother has really talked of so many things, and Mato also included that we should follow the constitution, then we will be good. What is your take on it?
Okay, thank you very much. I want to agree with him 100% kwa sababu nimemsikiza for a bit time from the start, and Badioya, he spoke about so many things. What I want to differ with him is only one. Activism and politics are two different things. If we can separate that, then we shall be on the same boat. You see, he's speaking about the governance, and that is what activism is all about. But politics is entail so many things. And I think the problems of this administration, the moment you bring the name of Raila Odinga inside it, it becomes a little bit tricky for some of us who opposed this administration. This government, from the start, even before they were elected in, William Samoei Arap Ruto was not fit to rule even a small nation like Rwanda, leave alone Rwanda, even as confused nation like Burundi. He was not fit to rule any nation. So let us stop this mentality of let us vote a bad leader, then we will fight that bad leader in the course of the life. My problem with many people is when I tell them that William will rule up to 2027. The easiest way we can change everything is 2027, and that will be during the August election. So for us to change, like now, Madioya is, I supported him on issues of what is important for us. Even me, Adani, not even Adani, the impeachment of Gashagwa, to me personally, it has been out of order, something that is a diversionary tactics. It is a waste of time. Brother Benson, let me tell you one thing that I had today. And I want to thank Miguda. I wrote a lot of questions for him as somebody who is coming from legal profession. Even up to yesterday, we were still arguing if we impeach the deputy president, because I'm not a lawyer, if we can have him battling these things in court. But I've come to realize after a lot of consultation that the moment we impeached Rigathi Gachagua, the case is closed. He ceased to be the deputy president, and we will have to choose another one. For that, I agree with him 100%. And those are I think, the 10 questions I wanted him, if Makobura can remember, I wanted him to answer that day. But because I've gotten the answer now, I fully agree with him. And I am a man who actually I move with the pace. Mimi ni mtu nakubali kushindwa mapema. As much as I may have sympathy with Rigathi Gachagua and his style of politics and his family, but it is an end game. If he will not achieve 17 MPs, then we will have a deputy president, a new deputy president. But I still have one question that is lingering. Do these Gen Zs and these young people know that there is a panel that is selecting the IBC? And very soon, even by December, we may have a new IBC. And as much as we have a new IBC selected by ODM and UDA, and they form an election pact after that, as much as we make noise, we oppose it. Election is rigged by number one, having the commissioners on your side and even the chairman of IBC. So the process of next general election has started now when we as young people, our mind, our energy, our our moral ethics and emotions has been taken away to discuss Gachagwa's impeachment, to discuss Adani of all things, to discuss Shifa, when the real power, these people are forming IBC behind the scene, minus the public participation. The government never work because these politicians ni wale wale. Don't even mind after Ruto achieve his power in 2027, then the DPP by then drop the charges against Gachagua. Same they are doing for Sonko and Baba Yao, Waitito. Yeah, same. They are doing the same. Sonko may be even eligible to run in 2027 election. He was impeached and he was eligible to run for election in 2027. In 2022, when some people say he could run in Mombasa, he could run in Nairobi, so he is eligible to run. So that's why I'm telling these young people, let us be very, very careful. Very, very careful. We may fukuza Gachagua ng'ambo hii, but in 1 year and a half, he is done with his legal cases and is eligible to run again. What will we tell people? I think that's my take for now.
Okay, thank you so much. And Mato also is saying something here that you can't choose a deputy president on singular or a citizenry. There is no such ballot paper in our constitution. That's the catch my people had. So Ayaga, the reason why let us leave or take off this discussion of what is happening, because when you see what is happening on how the politics have been played until where we are today, it's all about the leadership and the people, the political players are the people who are pressing these buttons. That is what we know. They're the people who are pressing these buttons because look at the issue to do with the Dani. It was not taken with a lot of seriousness the way right now the deputy president impeachment has been taken. Remember, this is the first time in the history where the Speaker of the Senate is saying that no member of the Senate should go past Nairobi, and also should not travel outside the country because they feel this is weighty matter, as per the pronouncement that the Speaker of the House did. But when you look at it, look at when even the floods were killing majority of Kenyans, were going with the Kenyans. No parliament was convened to talk about it. Talk about the abduction. Today you listen on how Bob Njagi was narrating on how he encountered his abduction and what he went through. Those are very, very, very weighty matters that if they come, the public or the parliament, the legislature should convene and ask this question. But now, these are the not questions that were not asked. But now when it comes to impeachment, it is being asked. So how can we move away from that, especially with the citizen?
Okay, this is what I have been saying, that our parliament, the parliament we have today,
Yeah.
has no people's trust. Our parliament has lost legitimacy from the citizen, and that's why I was telling people yesterday. I wish immediately the Gachagua was impeached, I could have seen a certain celebration, that celebratory mood in, even if not all over the country, but at least some part of the country. And that was not even there in Eldoret, was not even there in Kisumu. There were no celebration in Siaya. There were no celebration in Migori and Omabay, where we thought these people, they are the rivals of Brigadier Gachagua. But that alone tells you that the mood on the ground is not about Gachagua.
Yeah.
People want service delivery. I watch a clip of a certain old man from not Elgeyo, I think Elgeyo Marakwet. He was asking, now if we impeach Gachagua, are we going to have roads from Kimarer to Sijui, a certain place there I mentioned? If we impeach Gachagua, are we now going to have A, B, C, D, and Z? And that is my question. As much as I have, from the word go, I have a different opinion between me, Gachagua, and the Rutos of this world. And that's why sometimes I sympathize with my brother Martin Deto. Martin Deto, you cannot elect a bad leader, then join us to fight that bad leader. That is what we say. You cry more than the bereaved. And when it comes to sensitization of politics, I think I may be one of the people who will be very available to educate the central people, the people from central Kenya, how to vote. I will go there to tell them, number one, it is not always that anytime you vote against. These people from 2002, they have been voting against. Even the people like my brother and friend Martin Deto, if you ask Deto, did you vote William Ruto? He will tell you no. I just voted against Raila Odinga. My problem was not William Ruto. My problem was Raila Odinga, and I voted against Raila Odinga, and that is all, and that is whatever I did. Whatever I'm facing today is a new thing. So to them, William Ruto has just happened, and they have to fight and work out how to deal with William Ruto, because to them, they were blindfolded with one human being called Raila Odinga. And that is how they have been voting for about 20 years or so. So my question,
Yeah.
are Kenyans ready, more so from the central Kenya, for the first time in the history since 2002, so that they vote for something but not against something?
But
That is when we will sit down and
Ayaga,
have a conversation.
Ayaga, because let us agree, even though if we say that is in the central Kenya, but this is what is being witnessed in the what we call the regionalism kind of like politics, and that's how people vote. Because like even if you go to areas like maybe Ukambani at the time, they will vote against somebody just because their guy, they'll vote in their guy, provided the name of their guy is in that particular ballot or their guy is associated with that political party. So when they are voting, they're not voting for that guy, but they're voting against, because that's why like majority of the times when you listen to campaigns, what somebody will say, do not vote for him, but vote for us. So it is something that it is all over the country, and that's why what we are talking about, the ethnic, what we call like the how politics has been ethnicized. Yeah, it's not all about issues whereby if we are giving somebody position in parliament, we don't look at the expertise that this person has. We don't look at the experience. We don't look at his background. But what we are looking for, we are looking, first of all, our first qualification to give you an position in the government is your ethnic background will play part. That is what's taking place in Kenya. And even if to look at right now what is going to happen about when the replacement of Rigathi Gachagua will be taking place, it will not be about the expertise of that person. The tribal card will play based on the numbers that you have. So it is something that is all over the country. Or am I wrong to say that?
You are not wrong. You are not wrong. Yes, people must vote with this perception. Even in United States, we have blue states and red states. That's obvious. But the problem in Kenya, we are demonizing the character. We are demonizing. You will get it in United States. Even those red states or blue states, immediately after election, they have no problem. But the problem in Kenya, we are demonizing human being, and that human being represent a certain constituency. So we also demonizing that certain constituency. Let us take Raila Odinga for example. If you demonize, even me, I have a problem with Raila Odinga, yes, but I cannot generalize Luos as all of Luos, yeah. But our brothers from Central Kenya, number one, when they have a problem with a certain candidate, like what have helped us, they even ask us, they even went against us when we worked with Uhuru through handshake. You remember? Because we were telling them this, we never vote for Uhuru Kenyatta, but we don't take Uhuru Kenyatta as a devil. We are not classifying Uhuru Kenyatta as a non-human being, as a mad human being. So now today, when we are working with William Ruto, tena wanashangaa, wanasema these people mahali popote mnaingia mnaharibu. No, we are working with William Ruto because immediately we are done with the election. No matter what you did, no matter what you say about us, we can still work with you. We don't demonize a human being and where he come from as a problem.
Okay, Ayaga, let me ask you. I just want to ask you, at what point do you, as an Abota individual, decide, okay, now I want to go and work with the government in place or not work with any other person? You as a person, you make that decision. You as Ayaga today, we say, okay, we are going to work with Ruto because we saw this. It's not new. Remember when leaders like Jalang or Tom Ojienda and the rest, they say, okay, we are going to work with the president. What happened? They got a backlash, But at what point do you make a decision as a person that everybody will respect that decision? That is what I want to know.
Constitution.
Yeah.
Constitution. The
So,
moment the president is sworn in,
yeah.
If I went to anywhere, any interview,
Yeah.
and somebody blindly ask me, who is your president? I will say William Samoei Arap Ruto.
Mhm.
And that is all. And that is the end. Even if I'm joking, even if I'm crying, even if I am into it, I oppose or oppose, William Ruto is my president legally.
But
The one that took oath, the commander-in-chief
Yeah.
of the defense forces in the Republic of Kenya.
You're not answering my question. My question is, this is my question. If you say, if we work with them now, we see that tumekuja kuharibu, that's okay. But at what point do almost like 1,000 people decide, okay, we are going to work with this particular government, and after working with that particular, there's no backlash? But at what point also will somebody make a pronouncement and it's all okay if one person make a pronouncement? Because, for example, these are facts that are there. For instance, remember, I can give you 2013. when Uhuru Kenyatta was elected, there was a point even members of parliament, especially from ODM, castigated Uhuru Kenyatta, a point where some of them did the insult. When they shook hands, Uhuru Kenyatta became the darling, and he became the best president so far. That went like that, and it was okay. Now Ruto came into the power, and Ruto was also had a backlash, and they said that he's not ready to lead, he cannot lead. But people like Jalango made the first. Yeah, Jalango made the first to be with the president, to work with the president. Then after that, they got the backlash. But now, when the prime minister say now we can work with the President Ruto, now it is okay. Nobody, we did not have any backlash. So my question to you is, at what point will somebody like Ayaga make those decisions and it is okay, it doesn't get backlash? At what point?
Okay. Bernard, Benson, as an individual.
Sorry, Ayaga is stuck. Makobura, hold in brief. I'm coming.
It's okay. I can hear you clearly. Ayaga, Eric, you can proceed.
Okay, yeah. I just have some interruptions, kidogo. I'm saying this. Whoever believes in the Constitution of Kenya, the Constitution we promulgated in 2010, will accept that once the president is sworn in, even the governor, even me personally, I never voted for Orengo, by the way. I voted for Engineer Gumbo. So the moment Orengo is sworn in as governor, that is the time I recognize him as my governor. Same to Nairobi, same to anywhere, same to
Sorry, I don't know what has happened with Eric's
sworn in.
network. Eric, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I have a little bit interruptions from my side.
Okay.
I will
Sorry for
manage
that.
them.
We can now hear you.
So I'm saying the moment a leader is sworn in constitutionally, that is the president of the Republic of Kenya. And we, from where we are brought up, we always believe that is the president and we can work with that president. We may have some denial of up na pale, but when it comes to whatever, we agree that we have a president and that president must be respected and must be given a time to work. And that's why where we come from, the way we are brought up, as much as we tunapinga vitu sana, tumekuwa kwa opposition for long time, we also balance between knowing yes, there are those comedies we can make, but we know we respect the constitution, and also we expect anybody who will feel disgruntled by the Gachagua impeachment to follow the constitution. Don't cause unnecessary anarchy for this country. Let us give people time to think and make a good choice for themselves. Our brothers from Central, it is high time, and I will repeat, na sina hapo hata kama mtaniita, I don't know, I'm not a tribalist, I will never be one, so I don't, hata kama mtaniita inciter, I will be. I'm inciting them so that this time round, for 20 or so, 25 or so years, let them vote for something. When you vote for something, you expect something. That's why when Raila Odinga made a move, because we vote for him, in his idea, when he made a move, even that move italeta kitu kidogo for the supporters, we always accept it, but we don't behave like angels that we vote against. We call somebody evil, we call it mganga, we call that person all names. Mpaka kuna wakati nilikuwa huko Murang'a, wanasema hii pombe kwa sababu walikuwa wanapigania alcohol huko, wanasema pombe waeke sura ya Raila nga ati watu wata stop ku drink. Those are the things I'm telling people. Hate me, love me, let me speak my heart. Let us teach our brothers from Central Kenya how to vote for something. For the very first time, I want my brother Ndeto to vote for something. You can't be my age mate, and since you are born and you have never voted for something, you always you vote against Moi in 2002. You vote against Raila in 2007. You vote against ICC in 2013. You vote against Raila again in 2017. You vote against Raila in 2022. Then you are preparing to murder an enemy in the name of maybe, I don't know, because you people, you choose your enemies to vote against. This time I'm waiting who. Maybe because Luos are supporting Ruto, maybe you will make Ruto your enemy, so you vote against Ruto. This time, vote against something, so that when people have a conversation, you be open. Say, I voted for William Ruto. In my mind, whatever the mistake is making, I owe Kenyans, the rest of Kenyan, those mistakes. But you can't make a proper and the main mistake of voting somebody like a dictator, and then when that dictator comes to you, then you call us you call us Kenyans now. Kenyans, come fight, help us. No, that one I will not do. I'm getting old for those things.
Okay, thank you very much, Brother Eric Ayaga. I'm happy to see you on the screens. It's been a while. We've been just hearing the voice. I think today, my friends at the comment section, led by Gypsy Corner, Mato, Laban, Misiani, they've been hearing this voice, but they've never seen. Actually, I wish Ani ametamani sana kukuona. Anasema ya kwamba wewe huko na zako, lakini anasema ya kwamba atakuja kujua mbele ni nani huyu ameshinda akiwachokoza. Anyway, it's nice seeing you. Karibu Brother Benson. Hapa tunasema your opinion counts, and we are happy to hear your comments and your take on the whole political analysis of what has happened. Maybe something else that I would also want you to give your opinion on is now that the impeachment is going on, of course, from what we are seeing, there is a possibility that the deputy president would be impeached. There's this thinking that these people saying that the current interior CS, that is Professor Kindiki, might be given that opportunity to lead the people of Kenya as the deputy president. But again, there are also a group of people saying that the most senior politician who would easily or would take the position is one Mudavadi. And again, there's also people saying that the majority leader, Honorable Ishongwa, is being used by the president to ensure that they get the DP out, because he has been promised the position of CS Interior. And so people are actually saying so many things. I don't know whether you've heard of this, and what is the possibility of such things happening from where you see it. Our friend Matoma Candettes hapa anasema, lakini ambia Yaga to differentiate the two Ndetos. Ananichomea bwana. Watadhani ni mimi anaongelea. Mato anasema kindly differentiate. Ati mandatos wako wawili. Ni ndeto gani unaongea about? Anyway, you can proceed. Atikus now, thank you so much for joining. Mato tunashukuru. Gypsy Corner, asante sana. Douglas Kibogong, thank you so much for joining. Kennedy Francis, thank you so much. Judith Aretha, thank you so much. Laban Missiani, thank you so much. And everyone at the comment section, Brenda Obedi, thank you so much. We are very much grateful. Thanks for your consistent support, and we really appreciate. Brother Eric, can we proceed?
Okay. You know, I thought the Ndeto who is commenting here is the same Ndeto. The same Ndeto is the same Ndeto Bernard interviewed some days earlier. If it's not him, I'm very sorry. But the person I'm talking about is the Ndeto. Martin Ndeto from Kinangop. The Kinangop guy. Even MP, his MP mwenye amemshinda, unajua aliran for MP huko kwao. Amevote yes. Gachagua aende nyumbani. So kama si yeye ni pole, but the name doesn't matter. I'm talking about a person I know personally. I think I just lost the number a few days ago when I choose to have my political sabbatical leave. Let me tell you, I told you one thing the other day, and that day I think I still have them here. I wrote my points down. Yeah, I talked about Kikuyu factor when it comes to DP. I talk about ODM factor when it comes to DP, the choice of the DP, if in case Gachagua will be successfully impeached. And I also talked about the Pentagon. And I'm very happy that yesterday when I was listening to PLO Limumba also brought, he was with this professor from Emmanuel,
Barak Muluka.
The man from Emmanuel. So they were there in the studio, and PLO Limumba also brought the same thing. He said there is emergence of the former Pentagon, and that Pentagon is a little bit scary to the central people Kenya. Ndeto pole sana baba. Paul, if it is not you are the one, Paul, I'm very sorry. Don't hate me. Usikuwe na vita na mimi tafadhali. I didn't know. And pole sana. So I talked about the Pentagon, and that Pentagon is coming up. And that Pentagon was talking about one thing: 41 against 1. Who was being against? The Gikuyu community. And I'm also very afraid to bring in the name of Professor Herman Manyora, who I'm follow for a lot. He's a historian. He studied history, so hata mimi niko na yeye hapo. Herman Manyora said, if you want to rule Kenya peacefully, there are two communities you should not ignore. You can't ignore Luos, and you can't ignore the Kikuyus. So if this emergence of Pentagon, and I mentioned the man called Joe Nyaga, who was representing Mount Kenya East, because by that time there was nobody representing Mount Kenya West. So all these politics we are trying today, Raila Odinga tried them long time ago. Ruto is just making a repetition. Either it will work for him or not is a question for another day. But let us be very careful. And I said it yesterday. We may impeach Gachagua, but he will consolidate the mountain. Look at the MPs absenteeism, the one that said no. If you minus about 8 or 10 Wiper MPs, the rest are from Mount Kenya, East, West. If you add with the rest that were absent, you are giving Gachagua about 35 MPs free from the Mount Kenya West, which is the Gikuyu community, and that's against Gachagua was from Lamu. The MPs from Lamu are all along up to Nakuru. That tells you that these people, they have seen something and they are now forming an alliance. And that alliance, even if you manage to impeach Gachagua, Gachagua may work in the background. And at the end of the day, is a man that will not be ignored in the next political dispensation. That is what I'm saying.
Wako Bura.
Okay, thank you, Brother Eric. And for that good clarification, yeah, I also think that the political class is made, most of these people, they simply have interest. And the reason why most of the members of parliament hurriedly voted out the deputy president is because most of them have their own political interest. Some of them actually have been promised some key positions in the government. And we saw the same behavior in the last, immediately after the Gen Zs had finished their demonstration, while the president was trying to, when he had sent the CS home and he needed to get a new team in. If you can keenly remember how the likes of Honorable John Badi then was speaking, they were alikuwa anatetea ile kitu ambayo aliambiwa. So someone would ask, is this Mbadi mwenye leo hii sasa anasema vile Ruto ni mtu mzuri, kumbe behind the scene something was cooking, and we later on realized that he was waiting for the position of treasury. We also saw the same behavior in other members of parliament who behaved the same way. Little did we know that they were all waiting for a political position. So the political class has played with us very well. I also remember the member of parliament of Omabay Town, who was also very keen in, fighting for the government, saying how the president had made the good decision. We were being told that he was also waiting for the AG position. It is unfortunate that as much as he fought him, we didn't see him in that in the cabinet's position. Yeah. So all in all, I think the political class, when you see them standing up for something consistently and talking with a lot of energy, then it simply means that they have interest they have interest in certain issues. Yeah, so the issue of Babu Owino, someone has just asked a question here that I wanted you to answer. Douglas Kibogong is asking, ask Kayaga, did Raila won in 2007 when Kibaki was sworn in at night? Maybe you can unaweza peana hiyo swali vizuri. I believe you are.
Yes, Raila Odinga won free and clear. In fact, if there is a free and fair election, that Raila Odinga won was 2007 and 2022 election. That one, even if you choose to take me to court, those two elections, Raila Odinga won them free and fair and square. Unless, that's why the other day, you know, when Raila Odinga did handshake. In fact, I used to make my comments in our sister station, Sound Candid Talk, and I went there because it found that when I've taken a lot of political leave, like 1 year since the declaration of William Ruto as president, and I went there post Gen Z protest. So I told them one thing: you should not blame Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga has not betrayed you. It is the Kenyans that has betrayed Raila Odinga, and then I became enemy. And what I always happy with, it is better I be enemy, but one day you join me in being the enemy. So if being enemy is a problem, Raila Odinga won 2007 election. I was very young, and as I always say, I was very young. That is the year I think I did my KCPE. I was very young, but all things, all research I have done, all history I have done, the people I have spoken to, they all agree that that is the election, the first election that Raila Odinga won. In 2013, the tides were against Raila Odinga, so even me, I doubt if Raila Odinga wins that election. But the election of 2017, confirmed by the Supreme Court of Kenya through Maraga, Raila Odinga won that election, but refused to go for a repeat election with the same animals that have roasted him before. So I think, and I hope, Raila Odinga had the reasons. He will write a book. One day we will read. We historians, people who love reading long things, we will read about that book. Why he did so. He gave us a political reasons. Maybe there were personal reasons. Maybe there were security reasons. Maybe there were economic reasons. You know, people always blame Raila when Raila Odinga make a step. Like the step Raila Odinga made the other day by working with one some way William Ruto. Raila Odinga never made that to help him personally as Raila Odinga. I think Raila Odinga looked at the country called Kenya. He looked Kenya and he looked the generation of Kenyans to come. There were a lot because hata sisi tuko na udakudaku ya kupata hizi ma intelligence. It was bad. That's why when I came here for the first time, I told people like my friend Miguda, you Gen Z were reckless. Reckless means, see that you are reckless in what you are doing. Maybe you are doing something, but you are doing it to benefit somebody, but that thing will not benefit you. Yeah? There are issues, and today things are coming to light. There were coup. There were problems like somebody said there was William Ruto asked military to join in immediately after the 25th June. Then military told him, you know, for us we have been neutral, write a fax. You know a fax, when you fax a letter, the whole world is seeing it, so it is not a secret. Even people like Ayaga will get access. And we say, this is what our president order our military to do. So even those who are killed, it is not our military, it is him who ordered them as a commander-in-chief. But William being William, he told those people, ni udakudaku tu, ni fununu. He told those people, now, because you can't do this, chini ya maji, do this. Go to the street and threaten them. And I think that is the message Kenyans never got at that point. Wangekuwa na hiyo information that military will not even fire a bullet at them, wangeenda mbali sana. But So because Raila Odinga being Raila Odinga, he solved the situation, and that's why sometimes I bend down for that old man. As much as maybe the things he makes in life, the political life, he make a mistake that touches me personally, I feel that he is wrong. But coming down as a historian, reading through the lenses of life, sometimes I say, Baba ni Baba. And even this impeachment, the ODM people were just very quiet. But they were provoked by that woman called Mary Wamaua when he brought the name of Raila Odinga in. Amilo Gesagesa, who was now he is the whip or the deputy whip, told him now, because you bring the name of Raila Odinga, mulituwon tusiguze mlima. Kwa sababu wewe pia umeguza Gotramogi, wacha tuguzane, na wakaguzana. So it is upon Rigathi Gachagua and this group to see how they balance things. Yeah.
Ayaga, unajua saa zingine unaongea lakini I tend to
Okay.
disagree with you, especially when it comes to governance, because how does kuguza mlima, maybe somebody has talked bad about Raila, how does it change your governance and making rightful decision?
Thank you very much, Benson. Kuguza mlima ilimaanisha don't touch the central Kenyan leaders. I
Yes.
think that is what is meant.
Yes.
Unless you guys have another. So kuguza Gotramogi or kuguza Lake Victoria ilikuwa pia don't touch Raila Amolo Odinga. You know, we have a political suspicion that has been in this country. And I always tell people, I'm a historian, and history sometimes repeat itself. That's why I called this impeachment yesterday a historical, the biggest historical political betrayal in this country. There is somebody who is being betrayed, and that betrayal comes with a coup in it, because the word coup has been mentioned advancedly against Gachagua. And some people even said he financed the Gen Z revolution. To me, up to that moment, I defend Gachagua. Because the tag coup, where I come from, Uyomian, we are Uyomian by the way, where I come from in that peninsula, we have carried that tag of leading a coup of 1982 for very long time. Nimzigo, you can't even wish your worst enemy. And that is what I'm doing. I can't wish that. Even my worst enemy to have that. What I'm trying to say, maybe Gachagua made his own mistakes. Let those mistakes be called out. But when it comes to a coup, it is something that as historians, we people who study history, even if one day we choose to write a book, I will ask myself, because the death of General Ogola actually brought me into study about military, and that is when I realized that senior private is the second lowest rank in the military. Then I ask myself, how did Ochuka, a senior private, lead a coup when the generals, when the lieutenant generals, when the major generals, when the captains were not aware? Tulichezwa mahali as a people, as a country, and as a community. And I will not let that tag goes to Gachagua without a proper investigation. I will not do that.
Okay. And maybe after talking about that, let me engage you, because like what we usually see in politics is especially as the leaders, they usually disagree, especially in the executive. And what might be bringing this disagreement? Is it because our politics is all about, after getting into the leadership, it's all about business, but not about the issues that affect Kenyan people. Because I don't think that leaders can disagree to such extent, especially when it comes to building an hospital for that is going to serve Kenyans. I can't see any leaders disagreeing if we are going to correct the funding model of which is being proposed. I don't think that leaders can disagree in such a way we are building a road somewhere, because these are things that are affecting the common people. But you find now they are disagreeing on this. What is that one disagreement that usually comes on the things that do not affect the common or the citizen?
In Kenya, when you are elected a politician, it is a business.
Oh,
Now, that is the problem we have as a country. If you want to get rich, if you want to be seen as a successful person, don't even look for degree, don't even have masters, don't even look, because we have buried poor professors. Muga was buried as a poor professor. That is the example I can give. Professor Mauri Ambo was buried in our village there as a poor professor. So education never worked for us. Agriculture never worked for us. Business never worked for us. But the moment you entered politics, in fact, by just being elected a member of parliament, you have a tag. You have a title, honorable.
so
Once you have that name, honorable,
is
the word
honorable?
honorable will push you to greater heights.
Oh,
Will give you honorary degrees. The name will give you will make you meet great business people in this country, because even the great business people like James Mwangi, the owner of Equity, they will look for you. They will tell you, Nayaga, we want your support in parliament. We have a policy in this and that and that. You know, poor me, I will say yes. And that comes with maybe 300 million on top. Why should I disagree? That's why we are saying our parliament is the problem, not the president.
so
The
which means
biggest
Okay.
problem.
so
Yes,
I,
maybe before you come in, Brother Ben, allow me to take this opportunity to welcome my friend Patrick Chapkwon. Thank you for joining, and thanks for your comment. Allow me also to welcome Tile Jones. Karibu sana to Brother Benson Media. Here we say your opinion counts. The comment section, kindly keep on engaging us, and if you have any question, you can as well type at the comment section. We have one senior political analyst in the studio, Eric Ayaga. Ako hapa kujibu maswali yote.
tutamuuliza. So
Thank you.
thank you
Ben,
so much, Marco Buka. And because so from what you are saying, or how maybe there's those who are trying to facilitate members of parliament because they have some policies that wants to be passed in parliament that might favor them, if to say. So which means the impunity, or that what now we are calling the parliamentary, that we feel like the democracy of the parliamentary has been interfered with. This is also coming from the citizen themselves.
Exactly.
So which means
Exactly.
in the process of condemning some of the decisions that the leaders make, we should also condemn the public too, because they are facilitating those kind of policies that do not favor them.
Exactly. Thank you very much.
So how can we get out of that, so that when we as the public are pushing for policies, we push for those that can make sure that the medications are in the hospital, those can make sure that we have very good infrastructures, those can make sure that we have accountability and transparency in the governance, both in the executive, parliamentary, and even in the executive. How can that one be done if the public majority, the public are
Uh,
also participating in that?
Thank you very much. You have a very good question, and I love such questions. You know, Benson, the problem with Kenya is poverty. If we can fight poverty, you know, we always say in the village, an hungry man is an hungry man. In our village where I come from, I sit with elders, and there is a chronicle. The things I always, you call them proverb, but for me, I call them the chronicles of my grandfather. If you want a man to take anything, just tell that human being that this thing is giving you a sex drive, is boost your libido. A man can eat, even if you tell he eat frogs, they will eat frogs. Even the snakes, they will eat it. So what I'm saying is, one, we have to empower and educate our people in the right way to vote. I want to give you a constituency in Nyanza, because I was in that constituency like 1 month ago, and I realized that there is a ward that has no single secondary school. But the guy, the MP, has been there for 15 years, and that MP has been elected twice as independent, minus the main party from that region, plus the blessing of the political godfather from that region, Kisumu East.
Where Honorable Shakil Shabere is.
Exactly. I was shocked, to be in that a certain ward there, and I realized that the whole ward, they only have one secondary school since world began, 1900. So, but because they are given food, unga, people just vote in that line. Why? Because people has been placed in a certain condition that they don't think. It is their stomach that think for them. When you have taken people into a place where their stomach thinks for them, they will make a wrong leadership. They will choose anybody. But if Ayaga goes there telling them, if I go to parliament, I will give you an next idea. When Ayaga leaves, they will ask us, Munatuacha aje? Unatuacha na nini? Yeah. So the poverty in our country, the poverty, where if I pay a 10,000 for somebody's fee, that person worship me instead of worshiping God. Ananiona ni kama mimi ndio Mungu na nimekuja kuokoa hiyo familia badala ya anybody else. So you get that person anaacha good policy maker, is voting for briber who actually got a certain money, maybe a loan from somewhere, went and pour that money 2 or 3 months to election. After that, the guy will be sitting to get his money back. If you elect a dealer, don't expect to have a service. The dealer will bring back his money. But if you elect somebody with a policy, for now utateseka, but with time utaendelea na nini na mazao.
Ayaga, I agree with you, and the way you brought it up, and when you look at the political class on how they do it, there's nothing different with what the particular member of parliament you're mentioning is doing with other kind of members of parliament they're doing, which means they do the same thing but at different level. Yeah, because the baseline here is the condition of Kenyans. That is the baseline, because all they know, not that they don't know, they know one of the biggest challenges that majority of Kenyans are going through is poverty. Yeah, that is all what they know. But now, how am I going to use the condition of Kenyans in a very bright way so that they can vote for me? Think about that. Let me now bring you another scenario whereby I've always talked about it. A situation whereby, and Kenyans, the majority of those have also been made to think that way. Take a typical example. Go to your area, Yaga. You have a very good heart. You want to assist the community. Yeah. You don't have any intention of running for any elective office. Yeah. But maybe you've decided you decided, okay, I'm going to bring like desk or not even desk or like anything that can assist the school around you. But the same people will tell you bwana wewe umetosha bwana, huyu mwingine hapa ametufanya nini, ametuchosha. Sasa unapata kutosha kwako inakuja, they get that in terms of the power of your pocket, but not the policy. So what they've made to think is they think of in terms of your pocket is big, or your pocket is oiled, or you're oiled person. So they feel if you're a leader, you're going to keep on oiling them, and they don't look at what are the policies that you can do. And that is the reason why we've ended up electing wrong leaders. Yeah, because they come for 2 days or 3 days, wanakuja wanamwaga pesa, alafu watu wanasema bwana mimi ndio natosha. Alafu akishamwaga hiyo pesa utapata baada ya kuenda, he wants to recover that money, and that's why what happens. How many times have you seen, I like people who are going to do the project giving back to the society. How many have you seen so many pictures are surfacing on mtandao, yeah, and somebody anaenda anasaidia widow, akishaenda akisaidia widow, huyo amemsaidia, alafu anakuja his own bloggers wanachukua hiyo, wanasema huyu ndiye amekuja sasa atatusaidia. Inatusaidia aje? Umemsaidia, ndio. Na are your policies the same of what you're doing, or you're just doing it for a purpose? And you find immediately election comes, he fails, you're not going to see him, because he feels that the community has betrayed you. I've assisted you, I've built these homes for these widows, I've done this, and at the time when I wanted you to vote for me, you did not. When you go for him, he will tell you, go and ask the person whom you voted for. So the problem, that's where the problem comes. So these leaders, they have their ways in which doing the same thing, but the baseline is taking advantage of the condition of the fellow Kenyans. So that's what I think. So it's not only him. It's not only him. All of them.
Thank you very much, Benson. You are very correct, 100% correct. And let me tell you, I'm a very good believer in Christianity, and as always, I will say I'm a very good Catholic, and I went to all my Catholic levels until one day when my mom realized I was about to come to Misa. Then I headed to Father, and then he said no. so so Christianity, if you come to religion, and if you come to Bible, there is something called manipulation, and even our current pastors are preaching about manipulation, and manipulation is an evil. If somebody is forcing you to believe in his way, or think, or take an action in his own way, there's something that you down your heart you are against. That is what we call the manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
And what our politicians are doing is an evil act called manipulation. We are being manipulated either because we are angry, and when you see food, you think this is godly. Maybe because we are poor and we have no school fee, and if this guy pay for our school fee, we believe on him, and whatever he or she tells us, we take it as godly. And that's why, me personally, I always call people, even politicians, who are using the name of God and Bible and Jesus Christ and whatever, blasphemist. They are blaspheming God. Yeah? So manipulation is not from the church alone, where you see somebody is telling about 600 people, you can pray without food until you die, and then you will see God. There are Mackenzie now in the political scenes. And that is what we are trying to fight. We are telling people. In fact, that's why you see people are arguing. CDF, is it beneficial or is it a manipulative act in the constitution that members of parliament are using to manipulate the voters to vote for them?
Yep, that is something that we've
Yeah.
also.
So that's why we are now back to the constitution and ask ourselves, is if this person, his work, his role is defined in the constitution, why can't we make education free for all and then do away? Let us even do simple thing, by the way. Let us say the education be free from primary to high school. Then as we educate our kids, we save money to educate them in the upper institute like university, upper education, tertiary colleges, whatever. But we know from class 1 to form 4, they will go free of charge. Then we do away, we take that bursary thing to help all the students. But what is MPs are doing? They take that money and they specify that money to a certain region. Like me, I'm coming from I'm coming from Rarieda sub-county. If I'm MP from that region, like Otiende Amolo does, kwa sababu we come from with him from Muyoma, he only specify from Muyoma because he knows, these people will vote for me unconditionally. Then I take a token like 20 or 30 students from Asembo the other side to give them bursary. Let us have a free primary and secondary education and make our parents know. Even me, I'm a parent in making. By the time my kid amemaliza form 4, it is me now because I have saved a little bit for about 12 years or 13. So I'm able as a parent to actually assist my kid aendelee, hata kama ni college atafute ka diploma kake ama ka higher diploma ama ka degree ya kwanza asomee hapo hivyo. But leaving this thing in the hand of politicians, they are manipulating it, they are misusing it, and they are making our people look so vulnerable and making wrong decisions every election.
Okay, Ayaga, Marco Burali engage, you're the host, yeah? You'll have to wait. You've talked of so many proverbs here, and this one, I want to bring you to the African traditional society or African spirituality. This is a conversation that has always been going on. Sorry, guys, I know it's very important about the spirituality of Africa. And from the onset, if you look at the history, even if you look at your history as somebody from the lake, I think when it comes to religion and tradition, there's somewhere you identify yourself, and you will be told on how you used to do sacrifices, especially in the event that something is not very okay with the society. The way in which you look at your society, how the clan elders were elected in a way that there was no supervision, but it was very much transparent. That did not bring any argumentative issues. And now now we look at ourselves. Now we feel like now we've gone through exposure, and now we want to be like the world, and we have what we call the constitutional democracy. Yeah, when you look at the African traditional way of life in leadership and constitutional democracy that we have, do you feel that the constitutional democracy is working for us vis-a-vis the traditional way that our leadership was organized?
Okay. Thank you very much, Benson. I have said this and I will repeat it. And if somebody choose to hate me because of this, I will be consistent. There are two things that are not working for us as Africans. Number one is religion. Number two is democracy. And even to make matter worse, democracy is not working anywhere in the world. And I'm ready to challenge anybody. The word democracy and religion were the things that were brought to Africa, the things that no longer works in Western world and the Arab world, and they were brought to Africa actually to derail us from thinking beyond our imaginations. And that is fact. So the term democracy, to me, it is not working. But it is a popular word where you get all our parties in Kenya. For example, if you create a party minus democracy, D in it, that party cannot move beyond a Akwom village. Yeah, that party cannot move beyond the village where I come from. The party must have D in it, that democracy, to so that we have something called democracy. My friend, we don't have democracy. What we have is bureaucracy. What has been ruling Africa? We have from the onset, before independence, after when we were colonized, up to now, we have been ruled totally with what we call bureaucracy. And that bureaucracy is what has been with us all that long. We don't have democracy. Democracy is not working for us. And I always ask people, because I'm a historian a little bit, sijaenda sana lakini kidogo niko nayo, tell me a country in the world that is doing so well with fully observing democracy. Tell me that country is called which country, then I will start studying from that country. Democracy is not working for us.
And the reason why I'm asking you this, because I've tend to go deep, and this one brings me to how when we conduct our elections as a country, and sometimes we see, even you as a Kenyan or any other African state would see that, okay, the election was flawed, like there were those incidences whereby the rule was not followed, and the same rules of election. These are things that are being brought by democracy. But you find that as an African, sometimes we do wait for a word from Western countries. So, like for instance, if a Western country say that, okay, this election was free and fair, we accept. But when you go to the village, there was a mother who was not allowed to vote. Yeah, just because like she or he might have come late. That is one. There's a mother who the interest of her vote, maybe in Wajir, Garissa, was not taken care of, rather than the political class fighting at how the votes were stolen, yet on how that woman could go to the polling station, they did not cater for that. So that's now what brings me that how then do we say that this is democracy? At what point do we say that this is democracy? Oh, Ayaga is Makobura.
Yes, I'm here.
Ayaga is kind of like Ayaga, you back?
You can get me?
Yeah, I can get you now. On the voting, whereby the observers, international observers, will say.
Bernard, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you very well. Or maybe you can drop and come back, because like if you're not getting me. Okay, let me see if I can drop him and he might come back. Ayaga. Okay. So Makobura, Ayaga is Ayaga. I can hear him. He doesn't hear me. Makubura, can you talk? So he might be getting you, but not me.
Okay, Eric, I think his network is not stable. Maybe we let him
Okay, Makubura, you are here.
come again. Yes.
Because like you know, you 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 are one person who is very much into Christianity, and you believe in the Christianity as a religion, which is okay because each and every person has that belief, which we cannot question. But there's also what we call the African spirituality and African traditional way of life. If you look at history very well, before even the Christianity came to Africa, the African had their gods, yeah, which to me it's usually in a small g, because we went to school, we were told that African god should be written with a small g, which I don't mind because African had their god. And when you look at the African system of religion, was that, for example, I want to give you the one that is documented. When you go to in Nigeria, there's a what we call the Oludimare, the god of Oludimare, and they said that the god of Oludimare was god of creation. Yeah, and they believe this one before even coming of the Christianity. That is one. When you go to Egypt, there is a temple that was built before coming of the Christianity, and it was called Labella Temple. These are historical sites of Africans. Yeah, yeah. And before even coming to that, the Africans had what we call shrines, and the shrines were places whereby the Africans could go and cleanse, just to say if there's something that is wrong with the community. Yeah, then the Christianity came and all that. Now we tend to leave our African way of life and now kind of like come to Christianity. Maybe we are not asking your faith, but like maybe if you can tell us how that you balance that between the African traditional way of life of worshiping and the Christianity.
Okay. From where I sit, if I try do analysis of the African way of praising or worshiping,
Yeah.
or even recognizing their God, I think it's almost similar to the Christianity, because from where I sit, the person that they believed was God and the powers that they had, it is similar to the one that we have as Christianity. The only difference is that them, they had specific creatures, they had specific what do I say, things like mountain, like there are specific things that they gave reverence and respected as their god, or when they saw was a sign of good things. But above all, the Christianity way of thinking, and when we try link it with politics,
Mhm.
Christianity is more of modern, and also has given the political class, like it tries to incorporate everyone, and at the same time with the involvement of technology and so many things coming in, part of Christianity to some people is becoming irrelevant, and so for them to also maintain the relevancy, they're trying to incorporate even the new thinking of the society. And that is why you're seeing even other churches, especially in US and UK, those continents, they have gone even to an extent where they're blessing opposite to marriage and such kind of things, because they have this mentality that if they don't do that, then Christianity or the belief of these people would simply end. So from where I sit, it is partly going against the thinking of the natural of the uh, local people, especially the Africans, because we believed, and Africans believed through their religious beliefs, that such kind of things, union maybe between same genders, were something that was a curse, and if such things would be seen in the society, that then those people involved would then get discriminated, would then get exclusion from the society. And we are also seeing a political environment that is also embracing the same, to an extent that they have gone to even give position like nominations to people having this kind of behavior, or people who have different opinion. They are calling themselves the minority. And so the political scenarios in the Republic of Kenya and also in Africa and also in the world, it is changing the same way Christianity is changing. Christianity is no longer as a strong belief, does not have the value that it used to have some times back. As the world evolves, everyone and everything tries to change to try adapt with the thinking of the people that exist in that society. So
Okay.
partly we are having the same problems in the political and the runnings of the government because the, there are new things which have come in, and it is tough for us, those who have existed, to fully adapt and reason in the same manner. But I think in the near future, with the things and the comings of new things, everything is simply going to change as per the thinking and the values which are coming, the new inventions.
So to you, not in a bad way. So you believe that the African traditional way of life, especially when you go back in the history in terms of worship and believing, and the Christianity they just share. So it is upon each and every person to decide where you want to be, because all of them leads. It's like a bigger ocean whereby um, everybody wants to get water from, but they get it from different sources. Because let's say, for example, when we talk about Christianity, the Christianity has intercessor whereby they go through Jesus Christ. When you come to Islam as a religion, they have Muhammad. But when you come to the African traditional society, we had what we call the living dead and the ancestors. Those are the people that were intervening then, that there are people who were the intermediaries between them and the supernatural being that they believed in, or that is wrong. I don't know.
Christianity, the traditional way of thinking, or the traditional religious group, together with I can see our friend MUTHIORA Kiara is he
Ah,
here again? Maybe
yes, my friend.
Yes, Comrade. I'm back.
Yeah. So, because I'm just about to head it to, I don't know whether I can leave you with my co-host, because like I'm just about to leave for work. Will it be okay for you? I need to ask you.
Hour.
Yeah.
Yes, we can carry on.
Okay. Makobura, you okay?
In a
oh
different
yes, it's
environment, I'm going to do better than before.
Hata sasa nimeona sura yako hapo tunasema,
Awesome.
lakini uko salama?
Niko safi.
Eh.
Nimekuwa ndefu.
Mm.
Tulianza mazungumzo, sasa bado yanaendelea.
Okay, Makobura is one of our hosts too, because we have a panel of almost we have like 3 hosts of us. We are 3 usually run the show. So actually I was hosting you, but like now my time is kind of like expired. So I can hand you over to Makobura if you don't mind. I'm just requesting. So if you allow me, I will do that. Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Makobura. Let me give you opportunity, and I'm going to communicate to you through the WhatsApp. So thank you so much for your time, and may God bless you.
before you leave, would you confirm if his volume is okay? Because I can hear it a bit low.
On my side, let me check.
No, the volume of our guest, Honorable
Oh,
MUTHIORA.
so he should actually turn it up on his side. He should check the volume, because on this other side the volume is okay.
So maximum on this side.
Yeah, it's
But
it, it it's kind of like
It's too
breaking.
low. I mean, the volume is too low. I don't know whether you can hear it from your side. The volume
Uh,
seems to be too low.
Breaking on my side.
how is it now?
It's okay.
It's better. It's better.
It's better now?
Yes.
Oh yes, it's okay. Yeah.
Perfect. Let's do this, gentlemen.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Honorable Mathiora. And also in the studio is Eric. Eric, karibu tena. Honorable Mathiora, are you there?
Yes, you can drop the title honorable. That title belongs to the Kenyan people to be apportioned as they deem fit. Right now, I'm just a servant of the people. That will do, sir.
Very well. Noted with thanks. Yeah, so something that I wanted you to give your opinion on is the impeachment of the deputy president.
Yes.
You know, the due process was being followed, but there's a group of people who are saying that the participation which was done was not really done in the right manner, and they're arguing
Yes.
that if the question was then being proposed to the people, when the people
Yeah.
of Kenya were being asked whether it was right, we should impeach the deputy president, they even included all the accusations in the question without letting the deputy president speak first about the
Yeah.
accusations. From
Yeah.
where you see it, and as someone who understands the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya, do you think
Yeah.
that was fair to the deputy president? And that is what really the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya says.
Well, the way things are set up, we actually should laud Parliament or the National Assembly for the approach they adopted this time round, because they thought that in their wisdom, the process would be fairer if they allowed the deputy president to come present his case in Parliament. In practice, that shouldn't be the case. A motion of impeachment is tabled, and then members debate it and vote without giving an opportunity to the person in question presenting their defense. So this went a little further than is required according to our constitution. But of course, yes, we have these natural laws of justice that should be adhered to, whether it's written in the constitution or in our set of laws. That said, what we should concern ourselves with is the quality of the public participation process. A notice was given, and very quickly, even before the public had enough time to interact with the content of the motion, they were asked to come forward and give their views. In my opinion, that period is too short. In future, we should consider amending the way this is done so as to allow for sufficient public engagement with such a motion. So if you ask me, that in itself denies the person that's been impeached a fair hearing or a fair trial. But we are talking about Rigathi Gachagua, a man who, in those very short 23 months, has succeeded in driving the tribal agenda in a way that no other top official has ever done in this country. He deserves to go. And if we were to use whatever methods to take him home, including those that would involve us just interpreting the Constitution directly, then we should do that, because this is an individual who had an opportunity to unite this nation, but instead chose to play to the gallery of the people who would be called his stronghold. He didn't have to do that. Now, that aside, even before we look into the other things that were listed as grounds for his impeachment, is enough for us to say the man did not deserve a chance.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mathiora. I think my brother here, Eric, had a question about. There's a question that you're asking, brother Eric, on the issue. I don't know the process of impeaching the deputy president, and then you said that after him going, who else should come in? I think the guest here can give you a good explanation I mean, a good answer. I don't know whether you can remember the question that you had. You were trying to ask. You said that you have one question that you've not gotten the answer. Maybe you can ask before I come in. We can't hear you. I don't know why. I don't know whether you're away from your phone. Yeah, we can't hear you. You can just see. Maybe you can try drop and then come again. Is here, he'll answer the question. Yes, Brother MUTHIORA. Something else
Yes, sir.
that is being asked by the people of Kenya is that, and clearly from the explanation you've given, you've said very well
Yes.
that the deputy president deserved this. And now my question
Yes.
to you would be, if we say the deputy president deserved this, and then he had gone against what the constitution says when it comes to governance and the roles of the deputy president, would we be why are we not seeing, would we be right to say that what the constitution says about the role of the president and his conduct are fair enough, and him is okay to still hold the position that he's still holding? Because the people of Kenya are asking themselves, if it comes to issues of tribalism, among these things that the deputy president was being accused, we've seen even the president being accused of the same. When it comes to tribalism, most of the PS in the Republic of Kenya coming from one community, and that is tribalism. When it comes to not listening to the people of Kenya, the parliament just did something the other day without consulting the people of Kenya with the authorization of the president. And again, he's not letting the parliament do their work freely according to what the constitution says. The parliament, most of time gets instructions from the executive. Is that what really the constitution says? Why are we then not going even for the president? Because we were told that the buck stops with the president.
Okay, comrade and all who are listening to us and watching this program, I wish to notify you that under the Kenya Bora Tuitakayo movement, we went to court with a petition seeking that the High Court finds that the presidency, that is the president and the deputy president, have violated the Constitution of Kenya at least 36 times. We laid sufficient evidence, which the High Court is considering. And we hope that after the determination of this case, both the two individuals will be found culpable. And according to our prayers, we are supposed to conduct a referendum to ask Kenyans if individuals who have assaulted our constitution that many times should be allowed to continue in office. So even before this impeachment came, there were Kenyans who had already seen the many times when the president and the deputy president had assaulted our constitution. So we hold that the two individuals should not be holding public office. In fact, I dare say that the president, that is William Samoei Ruto, has lost the willful consent, public opinion and favor and legitimacy to complete the remainder of his term. So now that the deputy president has been impeached, it should be easy for the courts to use the same grounds to find the president to have contravened our constitution and grant our prayers so that Kenyans can have a referendum to decide if William Ruto should go home, because we know that parliament is captured by William Ruto and will not do the same thing they did to Rigathi Gachagua, even though it may be proven that the president has contravened our constitution multiple times. You started by asking a question about to what next now that the deputy president has been impeached. According to our constitution, and I'm referring to Article 149, It says that within 14 days after a vacancy in the office of deputy president arises, the president shall nominate a person to fill the vacancy. You get that? So within 14 days. Are we clear?
Yes, you're clear.
Now, once the president nominates an individual to fill the vacancy, the National Assembly will consider that nomination within 60 days after receiving it. And then if they approve it, that's going to be the substantive deputy president. So that's what Kenya is looking at right now. We know
Okay, thank you.
that Rigathi Gachagua is not going to bow out without a fight. So after the impeachment leaves Parliament, that is both the National Assembly and Senate, Rigathi Gachagua will take this battle to the courts. And of course, the courts will pronounce themselves on this matter. And it's going to be the whole hog, the High Court, and then the Court of Appeal, and then the Supreme Court. After the Supreme Court pronounces itself on this matter, that's when we can deem impeachment to have happened. So it's only then that the president can appoint someone or nominate, and then Parliament considers that individual. So there's a protracted battle ahead of us.
Okay, thank you so much for that clarification. My friend here, Eric, had something that he wanted a clarification on. I don't know whether he's prepared to ask the question. Eric, are you there?
I'm here. You can hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay,
Kindly
you know,
proceed.
my question that I have struggled with from about a week ago, we will just call you Honorable Moran. Just Moran, allow us to call you Honorable for now.
Well,
he has answered.
You
I
see,
had a problem.
just allow me to budge in a little. You see, things don't go wrong. Things start wrong, and then eventually you lose the plot. I am a public servant, not yet elected, but I'm hoping to serve. So if the people are my boss, I cannot be an honorable member, for crying out loud. So kubali tu niite Muthiora Kariara, na inatosha ukiniita kamaradi. I'm your comrade, my brother.
Okay, I will call you Moran.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Moran, you answered my question.
Yeah.
And I loved it because yesterday and the days before, I was trying to argue that even if the Senate impeached the deputy president,
Yeah.
he will head to court.
Yes.
And he will be our deputy president for time being.
Yes.
If court serve those conservatory orders.
Yes.
Yeah, but my panelists were arguing that at the moment the impeachment is if we impeach the deputy government, deputy president at the Senate,
yes,
it is end of him. The courts cannot hear this. And my question is, I saw a tweet by Nelson Avi.
Yes.
And that's why I was also giving in to my fellow panelists who gave that opinion yesterday. By looking at the Nelson Avi's tweet, he said that presidency, the intensity of that office cannot allow for the court to hear the matter when that person is in the office. So immediately the guy is impeached by the Senate. It is over for him. He can fight his own cause when he's outside. And as we are at that time, we can actually nominate another deputy president. So I'm a little bit confused because I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a a normal human being, a mwananchi ya kawaida, and I wanted to know this legal, because this is the first time actually we are trying to impeach someone from the presidency. So I need actually to know if we will go to court, because the deputy president alluded to it in his speech on that day, and I'm seeing a lot of commentary politician lawyers are giving, so I'm confused. So I wanted just to know what the law says. If we impeached Rigathi Gachagua on Thursday, is there a possibility that he will go to court? Because that was my thinking. But for now, I'm being thrown into a political disarray. I'm very confused. I don't know the truth. I don't know anything. Please, actually, try just to explain to us this, Moran, so that we understand a little bit in this area.
Okay, you see, it depends on the prayers that one makes in court. Like, for instance, Governor Kawera, after she was impeached, she rushed to court and the court stayed the impeachment, which means that she remained in office. And that barred the deputy governor from assuming the office of governor. So, as long as the case is going on in court, Governor Kawera remains in office. Yes, of course, she may not be discharging her duties as a governor, but then nobody can assume the office of the governor because, according to the courts, the matter has not been dispensed with. Now, if Rigathi Gachagua goes to court and gets those prayers answered, that the case against him has not been fulfilled, then nobody can assume that office. Yes, he will remain impeached, but he cannot be replaced until the matter is resolved to a logical end. Now, we just have to wait and see. And like you saw, he has hired very competent lawyers, and it's those top dollar lawyers whose rate of losing cases in court is very low. So it's likely that they'll put up a case that the courts cannot throw away or throw out. So let's just wait and see. But do not take it that after Gachagua is impeached by Senate next week, then they are going to start the process of replacing him by nominating someone else. That other person will not assume office.
Okay, thank you, Moran. And I also have, because that was my thinking as up to yesterday, because I knew this process very well. So, but I was doubting because we have never impeached a president or a deputy president. So I thought maybe my opinion was a little bit inferior to my fellow panelists. So I succeed. But because you have explained this, so what happens immediately the deputy president is impeached and his lawyers will not get those court orders, or we won't get the prey from the court? So what happens immediately? Let us
Well,
say he accept after impeachment, everything goes minus court. What happens after that immediately?
well, what will happen is William Ruto will nominate someone to fill the vacancy. After that name is forwarded to Parliament, which should happen within 14 days, Parliament will have 60 days to consider that nomination. So besides whatever other business that Parliament has, they must prioritize vetting that individual. And after debating their suitability and either voting for or against, that person will assume office or that person will be rejected. So William Ruto will have to find another person that's suitable who will go through the process yet again. But like you said, it's the first time that Kenya is doing this. So this is an opportunity for us to improve our jurisprudence. Now, I wanted to point out that there are certain impeachments that are straightforward. For instance, if we impeached the president and we have the deputy president, okay? Immediately, because we cannot have a vacuum, the deputy president assumes the office of the president. If they do not appeal at the Supreme Court and have their prayers granted, then that process just kicks in like clockwork. But for the sake of the matter at hand, we do not have an automatic impeachment for the deputy president that has been impeached. So it's a process that works with different cogs, which is why I'm saying let's prepare for a protracted court battle. It may take maybe the next 6 months before we have a replacement for Gachagua. Let's just wait and see.
Okay, thank you, Moran. I also want to ask you this because what
Well,
if
gentlemen, are we still there?
we are here? You can hear me? Moran, you
Hello?
can get me?
Okay, I suppose you all can hear me as we await for my fellow panelists to get back.
Makobura, you can hear me?
Yes, I can.
It is only Madioya that can't hear both of us.
Yes. Hello, Matthew, are you there?
Net
Hello?
yake imehang.
Yeah.
So,
That's
you know, those are the questions I wrote the other day. I wanted to ask Marco Miguda, and now that I've gotten the answer, and my prediction was very right. Once the Senate impeached the deputy president, according to Madioya, the deputy president may choose to start from the High Court. But I have one question that is not clear. So suppose we impeach the president, are we starting from the High Court, or we are going to direct to Supreme Court for interpretation of the law or whatever? Hapo tu akirudi, I hope
yeah.
he will answer
I
me
also,
on that portion, because I'm seeing the deputy president is just like the governors. But so suppose we impeached the president himself, what happens after that? Now that is the question I will be eager to ask, because I have sent it to so many people
is
but
back.
have not received a
Yes.
proper answer.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Madeira, are you there? Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Hello? I don't know what's wrong with I think it's network, it's not very stable.
Ajaribu tena network. Unajua tulikuambia tuko ushago, my friend, ushago huku
Oh,
ushago
yes.
huku kupata net si rahisi, saa zingine you have to struggle.
Okay. Hello, Mr. Madeira, are you there? Can you hear me? Hello, I think his network is not so stable. Maybe we give him a chance to fix it. Then if he comes back, we will proceed. I also wanted him to clarify something, especially on the issue of what the Constitution says. I feel that the Constitution is not fair enough to give the president a chance to nominate someone that we as a people we've not given a nod to. So I partly believe that someone who is going for the position of the president, deputy presidency, should be someone that has a blessing of the people of Kenya. Maybe your thought, Mr. Eric?
Though your voice is very low, I don't know, maybe my gadget has a very low voice, but I'm saying this. These issues, Makubura, they are new and we are just handling them for the very first time. Even the lawyers we have interact with, they just, because the reason why I was saying Miguda was right was because I saw what Nelson Avi posted. Before I came here, it was like 1 hour ago. So the same way Miguda was reasoning is the same way Avi was reasoning. So I'm a little bit confused. Maybe by tomorrow.
Okay. Hello,
Is
just a minute.
Moran, are you around?
Hello, can you hear me?
Adioya?
Yes, the
Net
network
yake
is a
bado.
little unclear. So I'm not sure you're able to hear me because I'm not able to hear you. I don't know how we can sort that out so we can proceed with the conversation. But if there are others who are able to hear me, maybe they can drop a comment in the chat section so we know if we should proceed or perhaps we sort out the network issues first.
We can hear you, Moran. We can hear you. You're clear. You can just proceed. We can hear you.
Okay. Okay, I'm not able to hear you clearly, but I remember I started by advancing a conversation that even before Rigathi Gachagwa's impeachment was tabled or mooted to be tabled in Parliament, there were Kenyans who had already gone to court, and a petition had in fact been referred to Justice Bahati Mwamue for directions and action that was seeking the removal of the two, that's the president and the deputy president, by the Kenyan people through a referendum. And it had been organized in such a way that the court would look into the evidence that had been presented, check if the 36 charges against the two hold any water, and if so, then Kenyans should be given an opportunity
Sorry for that. What a good conversation we're having. It's unfortunate that our guest is not having a stable internet, but hopefully maybe we'll find time to bring him back so that we can tackle this legal question which are coming from our viewers. Yes, so my brother Eric, you are saying something. I think you can proceed.
Okay. I think because this issue, I have tried to ask so many people, though I have not get a reply for about the few lawyers. I may have their contact here because it is something that I'm seeing is bringing a lot of confusion and sometimes make us argue of non-issue. We want to know that if the deputy president is impeached by the Senate by Tuseme Thursday, can the deputy president go to court and get a conservatory orders and stay as the case is being until the case is heard and determined? That's my problem. And I also have a question that if this case, I'm seeing so many people argue, the people who are saying it will go to court are saying within 6 months. If this case of such magnitude have a constrained timeline that it is 6 months. It's from High Court up to Supreme Court, because we saw what happened with BBI. It took about 1.5 years. So I'm asking if this case of such magnitude will have a timeline that is 6 months, where we will have High Court doing their part, because whoever will get disgruntled will appeal the case, and then the case will be appealed again to Supreme Court. So my question is such case of this magnitude have a certain timeline that cannot pass? So even if we impeached deputy president by Thursday, we just count by 6 months. That will be next year, around next year by April, we may have a new deputy president, or the same deputy president will win the case and continue to be in the office. The second question I also want these people from legal fraternity to answer: when the deputy president got the conservatory orders to stay in the office, will he perform his normal function? He can sit in cabinet, he can chair the IPEC, he can chair the sub-cabinet committees. Those are the things I want to know. If he will do his normal functions as the normal deputy president, or he will have some. We look at, there is that order that when you have a court case, you get half salary, your security is being scaled down, you cannot perform your duty. So those are the things, me as Ayaga, I want to know from the legal fraternity. Actually, there are about 10 questions. Some I think I'm not with them, but I want to know and then get these answers, because even the answer of if once the deputy is impeached, I'm seeing lawyers are contradicting themselves on this. So I don't know, after the impeachment on Thursday, if the majority of senators impeached Gachagua, I don't know if some lawyers will go to court to say finito complete, it is over. Now we must have a new whatever. You can fight your things in court the same way my brother Miguda was saying, because I'm seeing Miguda is also right. Going to the argument of senior lawyers, I've seen he is also right. And Badioya is also right, because that is what my thinking, and I'm seeing it is also thinking of other lawyers. Are we going to come to what a constitutional quagmire after this, where we may get to Supreme Court to interpret law on this? All law is clear on this after that. That is what I want to know.
Okay, now I said that Rigathi Gachagua had gone to court before. That's the High Court, when he was trying to stop the impeachment from happening. Now, after he's gone through impeachment, this has to be treated like a presidential petition. Okay? And the court that's competent enough, according to our law, to address presidential petitions is the Supreme Court, because the office of the deputy president is domiciled in the presidency. So after impeachment, that is after the case goes through the National Assembly, which it has, then through the Senate, then the next stop would be the Supreme Court. So if Gachagua is going to appeal against the impeachment, that's going to happen at the Supreme Court. Now, until the Supreme Court has pronounced itself, and these are being advised, he will remain in office. So there is a period that has to be allowed for this matter to be dispensed with. In the case of a presidential petition, we know the Supreme Court has to give a determination within 14 days. So I stand corrected. I've just gotten information that we need to focus ourselves on this impeachment being that of a position in the presidency, which should be handled by the Supreme Court. So unlike other cases where we would start from a lower court, then to a court of appeal, and then the apex court, this case will go straight to the Supreme Court. If you're
Okay.
with me, yeah.
That was nice.
Okay. Now I get you, because I've I've just received the same answer from somebody I know, and
Yes.
that is what I was reading. Now it is okay. Now this case will go direct to the Supreme Court, and
Yes.
at the Supreme Court, it may take 6 months. The period. So it won't start from the lower court. Like High Court cannot handle this case, and Court of Appeal can't handle this case. So this case will go direct to Supreme Court. My question is, if this is handled as a presidential case petition, for example,
Yes.
for example, is Gachagua right by saying that it is the parliament is trying to change or interferes by the will of people? So should we accept that the deputy president is actually elected deputy president? Because many people argue he's just appointed by the president and he can be impeached, something like that. So we want to know if now Gachagua is right by saying that by impeaching him is interfering by the will of people minus people's participation.
You see, Kenya is a republic, and what that means is this country will be governed by the rule of law. So we have a set of laws that guide us given the different scenarios that unfold in the day-to-day running of the country. In order to have a president, we go through an election. And for our case, a president gets a running mate, and then together they seek mandate from the people, and then they serve. But midway through their tenure, impeachment could happen, either that of the president or that of the deputy president. And because people foresaw that we may have lacunas in law, they ensured that they put provisions in our constitution that would help to guide how we come out of such situations. And we have a manual. We do not have any lacunas. What I said is this case is going to help Kenya improve on its jurisprudence, because this is a thing that has not been canvassed in court before, but we are getting an opportunity to do it. But even as we develop that jurisprudence, there is what already exists in law. And according to our law, with regard to what you've said, the deputy president, after the Supreme Court determines that he was duly impeached, will have no recourse. He may choose to do what Sonko did, which is go to the East African Court of Justice, or he could even go to the African Apex Court, or even go to ICC. But we know precedent has been set before that whatever those courts decide is only taken in advisory and does not have biting effect. So what the Supreme Court will decide is what will be implemented. Now, if a presidential petition is determined within 14 days, I do not see a situation where the impeachment of the deputy president will be allowed to take longer than 14 days. like I heard you say, there are people saying it could take 6 months. That's unlikely. I'm sure this is a matter that will be dispensed with within at most 14 days. So you wait and see.
Okay, Moran, let me ask you this question is just by the way. So this means if court treats this petition, the Supreme Court treats this petition as a presidential and let us deal with it in 14 days. Is this means that in our constitution, the deputy president, that is what I'm asking, the deputy president is elected as the president, and Rigathi Gachagua is right when he says, I was answering to the people because I was elected as president with 7.2 million voters. Is Rigathi Gachagua right? Because those are the few arguments people say, deputy president is just a nominated one, nobody elected him, we only elected the president. But I'm seeing this thing is taking a trajectory as the presidential, because our argument all along is that we have a presidential system and we have the presidency. Will this also means that Kenyans do not trust the presidency? And what will happen with the presidency after that? Because now this means that we have in presidency we have two people. Their case, the way we treat them is similar by law. But when it comes to executive or administrative or governance, one is superior to the other. At what point do we now separate that the deputy president is not same as president? Because there is this issue of co-presidency. You hear people mentioning, Gachagua was behaving like a co-presidency or whatever. I want a clear separation that if we treat them the same by law, then at what point in governance is one superior than the other? Maybe I'm stupid to ask this, but I just want to learn. I just want to know. And itapata imesaidia watu wengine kwa sababu there is that argument where the deputy president argues, I'm elected as president, you can't impeach me, blah blah blah. And when we are now seeing the way, the direction or the trajectory the case is heading to, the case is similar with the same presidential election. It seems we are heading to another presidential petition. And, and this time now, it is one, not two. It is one.
I heard you, yeah. And I just wanted to let you know that you are not stupid for asking the question that you're asking, because from it, we will all get to learn. And then there is no such thing as a stupid question. Some people make that mistake. You see, as long as it helps us to advance our thinking, it's useful. So I was trying to explain that how these two get into office is not going to be interchangeable with how they can be removed from office. Of course, when they are getting into office, they come to Kenyans seeking for the mandate on a joint ticket. Now, it's difficult to determine what each person brings into the vote. Now, like I'll tell you, in 2022, it is alleged that even in Mount Kenya, where Rigathi Gachagua comes from, William Ruto got votes on his own volition. So it's not that Rigiji helped the president get votes. Yes, he may have made the ticket be more appealing to a section of Kenyans, but then we cannot apportion credit because, well, there's no scientific way of determining that. Now, they've been voted into office, and then a time has come when they have to part ways. Our constitution has laid down what needs to happen. So we cannot now come and want to rewrite the rules. What we will do is we will follow the law as has been written before. And what hasn't been understood, the High Court will help us to understand. People will go to court and seek clarification. And for this case, which, like I have told you, is a presidential petition, it's the Supreme Court that will handle it. So let's not try to apply these things in a simplistic manner. We have a law. Kenya is a republic. It will be governed by these laws. We cannot amend whatever laws that exist to suit the situation at hand. So let's just sit back and get an interpretation from the Supreme Court. After which, we should all get busy doing that which we usually do, which is being productive, paying taxes, and moving the country forward.
Okay, thank you, Brother MUTHIORA. Allow me to read these comments. Atticus now is saying that the guest protest during the last election was a stellar, amazing symbolism. I salute you, MUTHIORA Kiara. You are a true citizen. And
well, I appreciate that very much, and I'm glad that he took the symbolism from my protest in Bomas on the 23rd of June 2022, because I was running for president. I had met all the criteria. I had collected signatures from 28 counties. That is 4 counties more than was required. I had obtained IDs. I had a running mate who had a degree just like me. We had met all the requirements of Chapter 6. We had our PCC, that's the police clearance certificate. We had clearance from CRB. We had clearance from Higher Education Board. Basically, we had it all together and we presented it to the National Returning Officer, but he rejected our application. Now, in protest, a fire was lit at Bomas, and like I have explained before, it was a fire to consume all that is vile in the electoral process. And from that day on, I've been fighting for electoral justice because I believe that it's fraudulent elections that give us corrupt leaders. And then these corrupt leaders come and loot our resources, steal until we have nothing that Kenyans can live on, so they have dignified lives. So thank you very much. Huyo ni shujaa, ikiwa anakumbuka ajue kwamba bado tuko kwenye struggle na ipo siku mambo yatabadilika.
thank you, guest. We are very happy that you've been giving us the right explanation, and at least my brother Eric is now naona ametulia. Unajua Eric ni mtu ukiona ametulia inamaanisha ya kwamba kila kitu iko sawa. Eric, do you have anything that you still want clarification from our guest, maybe before we call it a day?
Okay. Let me ask MUTHIORA Moran. Mi nitamuita tu Moran. Moran. He knows why I'm calling him that name. I will ask him this way. The reason why you guys were barred from contesting for the presidency in 2022 was because of a Court of Appeal conservatory order by IBC to ban independent candidates. And that still stands because nobody ever appealed against it, and there was no ruling against it. Now, what are you doing as people who maybe have a dream of running as independent candidates to actually run? Because if that case is still active the way it is, the same way Chebukate got it, I don't think it will be easy for you guys. So, what are you guys doing? And number one, are you alive to that case? Because maybe I'm speaking of something you don't know.
I am one person who takes matters very seriously, which is why in 2017, when again I was running for president and I was barred from contesting as a presidential candidate, I found a way on the ballot with Dr. Kaluyu as his deputy presidential candidate. And even before we got to the ballot, we went to court in order for our prayers to be granted. Otherwise, we would never have made it to the ballot the 2 times that we did. You may recall that after the nullification of the first round of that election, an idea had been proposed to lock out independent candidates or those who are considered fringe candidates, that those who should be allowed in the second round were those who got a certain number of votes in the first round. So it took us going to court to be allowed in the election that took place on the 26th of October. Now, flash forward to 2022. Now, in that election, like I just explained, there were hurdles that had been set to ensure that it was very difficult for an ordinary Kenyan to make it through as a presidential candidate. Now, we went to court, but while we were in court, we also endeavored to fulfill all the conditions and requirements that had been set. And like I've told you, we collected signatures and IDs from 28 counties. That's 2,000 for each of those counties. What's required is 2,000 signatures from at least 24 counties. We went over and above. Now, as for academic qualifications, you can check my curriculum vitae and even that of my running mate. We are way above that. We are people of integrity, so we did not have a problem getting to go over the hoop. That's chapter 6. I've explained that we had certificates from the Higher Education Loans Board. And of course, we had supporters and those who were seconding our nomination. We met every condition, every criteria. But why we were not allowed to be on the ballot was because they thought we were going to disrupt their plans. The 2022 election, I hold to this date, was neither free, credible, nor fair. It was a fraudulent election that gave us this very, very clueless regime that has caused this country to sink to the level we find ourselves in, where we are a laughingstock even to our neighbors just next door, countries that before gave us a lot of respect for the way we conducted ourselves. So, yes, there are these legislations that have been advanced to make sure that they lock out people who, according to status quo, are not serious candidates. We are challenging those legislations in court, but even as we do that, we have gone a step ahead. For instance, if you do your research, you'll see that I came together with other like-minded Kenyans and we formed a political party. It's called TGN, which stands for the Great Nationhood Party of Kenya. We've been building these vehicles so that anyone that believes that a different Kenya is possible within our generation does not walk out there like a preacher without a church. So we've been putting together this home for all revolutionaries, people who believe in the Utu philosophy, to come, storm, and come out with these ideas that are going to be cascaded to the people, so that in 2027, we will have candidates run under our banner. And for once, we'll be running candidates who are not just running for office for the sake of it, but are grounded by ideology, people of integrity, people with values and principles. So that's one way of trying to get over the hoop. You may recall that in 2022, the only candidates that were cleared were those who were sponsored by parties. So we believe that with the party, we already have a leg into the other side of the river. I hope I answered your question. But even as you guys seek to conclude this conversation, I would like to let you know that we have a movement that is consolidating the gains that Kenyans made in the Gen Z-led protests back in June and July. We are running under the banner of the National Coordination Committee of the People's Assemblies. We have a home in Nokia Omtata's office, that is at Taj Tower, where revolutionaries meet and brainstorm and share what they've been doing out there to advance the people's struggle. We are inviting all grassroots organizations that are pro-people, youth-led, to join us so that we can sharpen each other and then carry whatever analysis we arrive at, whatever indoctrination we deem fit, to go and conduct political education amongst the masses, because we have a moment in our hands that says it is possible to remove this ruling political elite who have led this country to the quagmire we find ourselves in. So welcome to MCCPA. We usually conduct X Spaces every Sunday starting from 7 p.m. Look out for notices, participate, but besides that, wherever you are, try to organize. Organize, organize, organize. And we insist that you organize to take power. Do not organize for a politician that's currently in office to remain in office because they have proven, save for a few, that they are not leaders. They use those offices to cut deals, and these must come to a stop if Kenya is to work for you and me. Thank you and have a good night.
Okay, thank you so much, Brother MUTHIORA. As a channel, we are very much grateful here at Brother Benson Media. We really appreciate the fact that you took your time, came to have a discussion with us. And on behalf of Brother Benson Media, we are grateful and we really thank you. And something else that we also want to tell you as a channel is that whenever you have anything that you want us to help, be it the advertisement or letting the people of Kenya know of what is happening, just feel free and give us a notice of what you want us to do. We shall do it. Because as a people, we are all comrades, and the main reason actually why we're in this platform is to ensure that we let the people of Kenya get to understand everything that is happening in their country, and to also remind the people in leadership that they have a role. They swore to respect the constitution, and they have a duty to serve the people in the right manner as per what the constitution of the Republic of Kenya says. So at Brother Benson Media tunashukuru sana, and we hope that you'll find time to get back and continue with the discussion another day. Yes, Brother Eric.
I also wanted to thank Moran because I'm a talker. I want to thank him, and that's why I took a lot of time to listen for him because I those
He's
questions I wrote
coming
them the
back.
other day.
Yeah.
You can hear me?
Yes, yes. I think he's back. I wanted him to respond to what I just said.
Okay.
Well, I had you, and I appreciate the offer you have extended. You guys have been doing an amazing job. Even before Kenyans started hosting X spaces that were advancing the people's movement, you guys were already in that space doing the Lord's work. I urge you not to relent, keep injecting, keep educating Kenyans. If we have uneducated people, you can be sure that we will have better informed choices when 2027 arrives, or when we call Kenyans to the streets, because that's a way we have established get those in office to listen to us. So we need an educated public, and you guys have been doing a good job. Keep it up, and may God ensure that you never lack, because uneducated people are a resource any day, anytime, that can advance a nation to attain its full potential. Just before I go, I would like to confirm if you guys are pro Ruto must go, because that's all we are selling right now. Before, we would say Ruto must go, Gachagua must go. Gachagua has gone. So down with Ruto. If we imagine that we could remove the two of them, imagine how much easier it's going to be with just one left. Down with Ruto, down.
Down with Gachagua.
Organize. Down with Gachagua. Sasa wewe pale huko, hakikisha kwamba unawafunza wale unaoweza kuwafikia kwamba ili taifa la Kenya libadilike, lazima wao wacheze katika hiyo nafasi yao kulingana na uwezo wao. Do what you can where you are with what you've got, and trust me, if enough of us did that, this nation will start to move in the direction where it provides fairness, equal opportunities, and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother MUTHIORA. Maybe Eric, do you have anything that you want to tell our brother before he
No, I
leaves?
just want to thank my brother Moran, Madeoya Karara. I just want to thank you very much. Thank you for your time, my brother. I know sometimes having such opportunity is a little bit very hard, and we welcome you and feel at home. And every time you get an opportunity, please join us. You educate us. You know, sometimes we need guidance, and we need also proper education, because learning never ends. And also, please, if you come today, tell a friend, your friend of your friend, that we can at least have at least one of them per week, or at least two of them or three of them within the week, so that we keep the conversation live, and educating our young people, helping them of how to explore the world of politics, because I have come to realize that politics for now affect everything we do, either socially, morally, emotionally, religion, whatever. I want our people at least to understand, because this new constitution has so many things that our people do not understand, mostly on the ground. And I think next time you invite me around Kehancha, I've been those in those regions, so you can invite us, so that we have a vernacular where we educate people. We want people to be educated in local languages, where when they are making an opinion, they are informed, not only in English or Kiswahili or whatever. We want to devolve these things down. When we tell them Ruto must go, Gashagwa must go, or Gashagwa is gone, Ruto is remaining, we have to explain to them why these people must go. So when we have a public participation, at least they understand. Let us not take some little papers there written with very hard English that even Erika Yaga is struggling to understand. And we expect our grandmothers and our brothers from the village to understand. They will want make a proper decision. We want them to make a proper decision, and that's why I'm proposing that at least we have we devolve these such platforms into local. We can organize so that we have a certain point where we focus on our Migori. I don't know if that is called Southern Migori. So the South Migori people to get a proper education on such platform. But I'm very grateful. I think we are meeting for the very first time. I've seen you. I have been following you. You are a good inspiration for the young people, and I just encourage you to keep it on. But don't walk alone. Always walk with people. Walk with some of your friends. Introduce them here so that at least we can get a proper education from our brothers who are advanced more than us. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And as we leave it for tonight, I want to remind all those who are listening to us that Kenya's enemies are those members in the ruling political elite. You know who they are. When they realized that Kenyans were uniting to take back their country, they came together, united against the people, and blocked Kenyans from taking back their country. We know who our enemies are. Let us unite, go for them, and for once, let us take back our country and make it work for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much, our guest. We really appreciate for your kind words and all those things that you've said. Tunashukuru sana. And to our viewers, we are also very much grateful. Thanks for your consistent support. Thanks for the comment, engagement at the comment section, articles. We are very much grateful. And everyone at the comment section, tumeshukuru sana. I am taking this opportunity to Brother Eric, we are ending. Is there anything pending?
Oh no, I just want to thank our viewers for great time. I didn't know I may go this far, but I
But
thank
there,
God.
I really appreciate
Yeah.
the fact that today you've maintained, and at least we are seeing you. That is so nice. I wish you'd be coming that way every day, so that most of our friends who have not seen you would have been. Some of them have been saying that from how you speak and the wisdom that you give out, they are expecting to see someone who is a little bit older, but if they are seeing a Gen Z who is getting, that's so nice. That's so encouraging. That's so nice.
But
And also,
I may love to do this maybe every day, but equal hustle, my friend.
yeah,
Sometimes you are a man on transit. Even now, I'm just a man on transit, and
yeah, even mabati zako zote.
I'm just staying next to my luggage. So maybe tomorrow, this week, up to Friday, but I don't know. But I'm planning also to go to Nairobi. So God willing, I will be showing them my face. Kama walikuwa wanadhani mimi ni mzee nikiwaambia mimi ni kijana, wajue mimi Gen Z, nimeacha Gen Z na 2 years peke yake.
That is so nice. The expectation of viewers was something else. They really wanted to
Yeah.
see huyu ni nani anakoroga watu na anasema hivyo namna hii. That's and
Oh,
Hani
so
is here, and Hani has just joined.
but people knows me. Unajua mara mingi huwa nilikuwa na niko sound candid talk mtembei, so I don't think people expect a old person. It's just my problem is that since after 2022 nikaenda ushago, so nakwanga na wazee so nakwanga na wazee, and sometimes when you are with the old people you reason like them. So now that's where my problem is with so many people. I give a lot of proverbs. I'm also writing many books. Even here I have some things I'm writing. So maybe in future, God never know, but God willing, I want to do history. For I'm seeing also many people asking me Moran. Moran is a Korea word, means my brother. For those who are asking, yes, Moran is a Korea word, meaning my brother. Huyu kijana is a Korean, is from southern Migori. We are from the same I don't know, I'm not from that county, but we are in the same locality. So he's my brother. So for them, the same way people called Modo wa Nyumba, Mokoro, Mwana wa Ingo, Omera, you can just call the Korean people Moran, and he never contested it. I don't know why many people are asking me about that. It just means a brother in Korea. So I think we've done a very good interview with him, and we should bring such people. You know, sometimes learning, because this issue, kwa sababu niko mshtuni, unajua ningekuwa Nairobi ningekuwa nimepata jibu, lakini sasa niko mshtuni, unauliza huyu upati message, uliza huyu upati message, so I depend here. That's why nilikuwa napeleka Miguda Speedy, akaona mimi ni mbaya yeah, I just wanted to know what happens immediately the president is the deputy president. Na unaona imesumbua hata ndugu yangu huyu Kadioya, he had to confirm that this thing actually after Senate it will go to Senate. At least we learn, and then if we can get maybe another person who is advanced in terms of these legal issues can also help us. Sasa sisi kama surveyors, ili ya kupima tu shamba na kufanya maneno zingine na kupiga historia, tutasaidika by the way tutasaidika. Sisi ni watu wa kitendawili na tega na hadithi na methali. Sasa lazima watu watusaidie. A proverb nitaacha nao watu leo. I call them, you know, my grandfather wrote so many proverbs. And when I read it, calls a black book in our family. So for me, I nicknamed that black book the Chronicles of my grandfather. So I will still maintain that never hunt a wounded buffalo. Never hunt a wounded buffalo. The people from gathering and hunting community, they may explain that. When a buffalo amepata tu kaspia kidogo imepigwa moja, wachana na hiyo kitu. Wachana na Joey kama ishadungwa mishali. Joey will pass with you. Gachagua ako kwa hiyo position. Ashadungwa. That guy is very dangerous now, for now. Even if we are going to impeach him, let us deal with him in a very legal manner, peaceful way. Let us not be violent with such human being. He can turn into something else, and we don't want to lose our country. We know where I come from. We know how the emotions move people from that side. So we are just begging our country. Let us pray for our country. Nothing make us happy like political stability. And that one I will always tell our people and my young brothers. The political stability. Hata kama unauza mayai, utatoka tu uzunguke na mayai yako na uuze na urudi. But if there is political instability, where there is a fight, uko na mayai yako kwa nyumba lakini huwezi zungusha. Sasa hata hiyo kamia tatu unafaa kupata pasiku, unaweza ikosa. So what we should fight for as we talk about all these things is political stability. And we also hope that after this impeachment, we will have a stable nation and a stable country, and we want our neighbors actually to learn from us. Where I am, I'm next to a border. I'm bordering Uganda from the other side, northern Uganda, Swam border is being built. So I'm interacting with the Ugandan people, the Wagisu, the Acholis from the other side. They're asking me, they ask a lot of questions. My friend, is Kenya in Africa or Africa is in Kenya? Sometimes they even ask us, are you our neighbors? Because we even ask, are you our neighbors? Because the things you are doing in that country is different. And we love it because when we go, actually, they also want to learn from us. That's why when the Gen Z were here, you saw they tried it in Uganda, they tried it in Tanzania, they tried it in Nigeria. So we are a country that many people are learning from us. And the way we solve our problem, actually, we get respected a lot. For once you interact with people from the other country is when you will know your country is really respected. So I'm asking our brothers, the much as we are solving our political differences, let us ensure that we have a stability in our country, and let us solve our problem in a way that make us very proud and make us unique when we meet our neighbors. That's my prayer. And may God bless Kenya, and may God bless all of our viewers, and may God bless everybody. May God bless Brother Benson. May God bless Miguda. May God bless you, Makobura. And Captain Kips, he fears me a lot, but I know. So even Kenyan Revolution, may
think
God bless them, Gibson Cornam, and all our viewers. We thank them very much. We love them. May God bless them. Thank you very much. That's enough for today.
Yeah, thank you. I wanted you to close the show before you end. Actually, you give the closing remarks. Kindly do.
I saw Anne is here. Anne is calling me Gen Z. My friend, I'm not Gen Z, my friend. I'm a very old man. And I'm a very old person, by the way. I'm very old. Me, I'm not Gen Z. I cannot take my age to my. I'm a mature millennial. So to our viewers tonight, thank you very much. We love you. We adore you. We survive because of you, because we can't talk alone. It is good that a moment at any time you address people, we address like more than 20, 40, 50. And when I come to look it the following day, we are past 600, we are past almost 1,000. I'm very happy that also like a thousand people can listen to me. That's a salute, and we love you each other. Huyu Ann, let me close the show. Huyu Ann, huyu nitamtafuta, siku nitatafuta tu, nitafika tu hiyo capital city pa, nitauliza Bernard ani organizie, nimtafute hapo kwa Car Insurance Plaza, kuna kakahawa nitamnunulia. na nitarudi kwetu, but I'm not a Gen Z. I'm an old man. I'm old. Ni mwili, kuna kamide kreli nishika kidogo ikaniweka uso nikawa kijana. Thank you very much. Thank you for night. God bless you. Have a good night, all of you.